If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody gonna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
I whip that beat out like Michael Obama.
We already had it with
I got that
Obama,
big
so
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me.
No.
And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip the thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step back me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got that clit, bitch, hung like a llama. I'll whip that dick out like Michael Obama.
The project was scrapped after a prototype was run over by a taxi cab. Although, who knows how many surveillance cats are out in the wild right now? How well do you know your cat?
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Used to think we knew was constantly exploring all possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, bigger mistakes, entertaining, calling linguists, good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mischief making, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves and welcome to the Sunday Ladies Night, Ladies Drink Free episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. Layla is going to fly off her chair and I love it. We thank you guys for hanging out, whatever channel that you find us. If you're liking and subscribe on the Secret Society of Good Guys channel or the Project Chaney channel on YouTube, you're probably 18 and older because we got in trouble. That was our latest one we got in trouble for, is that we were not for children and you have to be 18 or older to come here. So we are glad you're 18 and older, which we think you should be anyway, to take part in the Secret Society of Good Guys, because sometimes we have adult combo and think that parents should be involved in discussing that with their children. But we are also on Rumble and X, so make sure you like and subscribe everywhere and tell a friend. We are still Ozempic and communism free over here. So how are you ladies?
Great. I just wanted to say this before we start anything. All you in the chat, Real Ride or Die, Lucy, Riggs, all you guys that show up here every episode, I just want to say I love you guys. Like all of you that are here right now, like undoctrinated, all of you guys. Like thank you for being here. You guys fucking rock. And I just wanted to say that. So
We do.
love
We talk
you.
about it when we're away from here. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you said
So
that.
yeah. You guys are awesome.
We have a great audience
We do. We do. They're so great. I love it.
and so much smarter than us. And I like that.
Yeah.
Most of you. Most
Yeah,
of you out there.
most.
Are you not entertained by our stupidity?
So how has it been since last time we hung out on Friday?
Good. It's good.
What have you been up to? Just a worky?
Work.
Just a work in life? It's your worky. Me and you work the weekends, but Abby's usually off on the weekends.
Yeah.
had a
I
chill
mean,
Saturday.
Sundays I'm off. It's my off day, but like, it's like my recuperating day from the week. So it's just like I want to sleep all day, not do anything all day, and then just wait for the podcast to start. I'm like, yes. So, yeah, it was great. How about you guys?
Congrats.
Now for the first time in a week. That's the longest break I've taken since like.
I don't think
forever.
your mic is on, like this mic.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yay! It's not proper. Secret Society of Good Guys MAGA unless
Without
the sound quality is a little
Is it
messed
better?
up. Oh yeah.
Yes.
So much nicer.
Oh, so much nicer.
I forgot to check that before we started.
Sound check.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My favorite is how before Abby does it, like, and this is what you wonder anyway, like, do you have to make the face before you do it?
Yeah, you gotta have the
Kinda.
face.
Try to
Yeah.
make a whole different face than the sex noise.
Fuck yeah.
Like if you're like, ah, ah.
Yeah, you can't do
but
it
your
like
face
that.
is like this.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
You
Oh
gotta-
yeah.
The whole body has to be into it.
Oh yeah.
I'm dying. Oh, shit. I know. I mean, don't they talk about like having ugly face the entire time while you're like having sex?
Having an orgasm.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes I mean you look good, but sometimes it's just like what the fuck,
I
right?
think guys' faces are weird, but I don't know. Like, I think I look fine. Have you ever seen yourself orgasm?
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
bad.
ladies are pretty sexy when they
I
have
think
orgasms.
so too. I was like,
I think I
"Damn,
look
that
good.
doesn't look-
I don't know.
Yeah, you probably do. I bet you do.
Maybe
yeah.
sometimes I feel like I look ridiculous, but I don't care.
I do too, but I've actually like, with a mirror and I've seen it and I'm
Yeah.
like, period, that looks pretty hot.
You're like, it's fine, everyone. It's fine.
Starting off hot. Yes, we are. Coming in hot.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you guys, we try to be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're out of prime time, so it should be fine if we're talking about orgasms this early
Yeah.
in the evening.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I will tell you that I did open the box that I'm going to be mailing to you guys from Kristen. And I will figure out a way for the rest of you guys. I will get a PO box figured out. We were supposed to do that, but life happened. But we'll get a PO box figured out. But we all got these cute little Lego men that are going to be shipped to us, and they all have our names on it. Then also
Aw.
with what's in it. And so
Can you show
mine-
everyone how they look?
well, I didn't open any ones. I figured you
oh.
guys would open them, and I just have my own. And so on the back of it, it says, Chaney, your minifigure comes with a white hat and a bunny and a red flag to wave. Also, Jules.
Aw.
So that's like my. So if you watch any of my other shows or have listened to Project Chaney, like I always have the Follow the White Rabbit and then a white hat if you know my nerdy little cue about me, and then waving my flag, but I like a red flag. Like I don't get no white flag.
Uh,
You know better than that. So also Jules. And then
Never
she
say
wrote me a
surrender.
little note about sorry, Jules has the wrong color hair. Like that's the only color Lego hair I had. So yeah, like your guys's all have its own little note on the back, and
Oh, cool.
like Thomas's, it all has a box, and then she also gave me envelopes. So I'm gonna be
Sweet.
mailing
I'm so
those out to you
touched.
guys. I am really
Yeah.
touched too. It was really cute and needed today.
I'm gonna get like a
So-
little glass thingy, not a glass thing, plexiglass little case, and just put it in there so I don't lose the pieces, and just have it like as a, you know, my own figurine, my first figurine,
Oh,
a
yeah.
Lego. Uh,
Yep, she has everyone's.
figure.
She did all of us. Gordy has his little figures and hat and an owl, and some of them, we saw in the video that we put up, but I think she finished everybody's beforehand. So,
nice.
yeah, I even had to get like Thomas has little striped glasses, and I had
Oh
to
my
get
gosh, really? That's awesome.
yeah, I
Yeah.
had to get Donuts addressed today to be like, hey, I have to mail you a Lego figure from the Secret Society of Good Guys. So I think he's going to be really touched too when he sees his dolphin.
Nice.
So
He's awesome. Shout out Donut.
yeah,
Donut.
so it's really cute, and it's just like that kind of stuff. People that I've been friends with now, I feel like for years, that I've gotten into conversations and life stuff, where you get into deeper conversations sometimes because people are getting to know this real version of you that maybe some of the people in your real life don't get to know. We have these vents, and we have this, it's like kind of almost in a way a real authenticity that my audience has always gotten that people in my real life don't always get.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes I'm
Yeah.
sugarcoating things or coping.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
fucking coping.
Man.
But
You guys know us better than a lot of people in real life, I would say, for sure.
Wait,
I
what?
know it's hard.
Our
I didn't hear
audience,
it. Oh yeah.
they know us better than a lot of people in real life.
Yeah. You get to see the
I'm-
real nitty-gritty.
Yeah, I'm pretty authentic in real life.
Yeah.
But I also hold my shit together in a lot. Like I bite my tongue in places that my intuition tells me it is not your place to say.
Yep.
Or this is
True.
not the battle, or this is not where you lose yourself, or this
let
is like
somebody
I've
else
gotten
handle
better at like
Yeah.
kind of picking my choosing where to let
Yeah.
out my energy.
Express yourself. Yeah.
And I feel healthier because of here.
Same. It's such an outlet.
I've toned down on it too because I was such a fighter when I moved out here to Florida. Like, fuck the mask, fuck that, fuck New York shitty, da 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 da, and like arguing with everyone about like this is what America should be about, America first, da da da. And then little by little, like I see people like they appreciate what I believe in, but it's at the same time they're still like on NPC level. I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna waste my time and my breath to add to the lunacy that they think I am. So I just stopped, only when it's necessary.
I want pictures like in the comic of all of us once we all have our own little character. And I definitely yours is gonna, but it's how I always knew you. And it's the original meme I ever made of you it's like the nickname that I used to call God Pill Angel 333 was Layla Gold Guns. It's what I've always called her. I said I would have in my magical fairy tale world, I would have a club of superheroes, and Layla would be the bouncer you'd least expect. She's all like gorgy in her dress, like sitting over there drinking a martini, and then she has 2 gold guns. And
Yeah,
so in
with
the
thigh
cartoon
straps.
character,
Bra.
yeah, the character is like you cartooning. Holy, that. But I want the cartoon somewhere in it. We're going to go up against an army of NPCs, but they're all going to have that sim thing above their head. And it's just you target practicing, blowing them all. Boosh, boosh,
Oh, I love
boosh.
that.
That's how you wake up Sims in our comic.
That's so great. I like that character
I kind of
because that's how I view everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
like
you're blowing it up. You're blowing up their paradigm. It's not about it being green. It's about blowing it the fuck up.
Yeah, like I'll stand back at my bar and I'm just like observing everyone. I'm like, dude, and I'm talking to my, bartender friend. I'm like, yo, Shay, look, Sam's everywhere. He's like, yo, for real, look, like everyone's so unaware. I'm like, yeah, like you're still on that vibe too, but like he gets it. Like he fucking gets it.
There
It's
is
just
I don't want people necessarily like I don't judge them harshly. One of my friends that I really want to like fall in love and get married and have the whole fairy tale. And she went on a date with someone and she was like, he knew about missing 411. And I was like, to
done
enough.
deal.
Like
Yeah.
he knows about missing 411. He doesn't even we don't have to believe in all the same things. We don't have to like he doesn't have to be a flat earther. He can still love NASA in my opinion. He ain't vaccinated and he knows about missing 401. You're like
Thank you.
75-80% of the way there. Like I was just like kind of like we in the conspiracy world don't need to be so nickel and dimey and harsh of like levels of wokeness necessarily
Yeah.
with people like we sometimes do. People like your friend can be kind of like, I don't know, I think something's fishy going on. Remember when Ronald Reagan said, if the American government says they're here to help run, and people will be like, but Ronald Reagan, CIA actor, that's me. I'm that person. Yeah, but we could probably say Ronald Reagan, CIA actor, or at least handled by Nancy Reagan, who was probably a Red Sparrow. And I'm like, I could have
Mhm.
probably just rewound that and been like, that person's 80% of the way there, Chaney. Why'd you have to do that to them? Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like that kind of stuff sometimes.
So, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Anything happened between Friday and now?
I
I
am
haven't been up to date.
rowing. I bought a rowing machine.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's what we were talking about. I told Abbie a little off air about it, but it's like a full body workout and I can feel it in myself. I'm going to go for distance over time and just see how far I can go and how long it takes. You know, I want my time to get better on distance, obviously, because I can still track how much each mile is.
Yep.
But it's a real meditation. Like there's so many great videos you can connect to it so that you can have the illusion on your television that you're on the water. And this is something like I kayaked and stuff for a really long time. Unfortunately, the kayak was one of the things I had to sell to pay like life through cancer to like get through. My kayak was one of the things I let go of, but I don't really mind. You know, technology and everything has gotten so much better. I'm like, okay, but I
Yeah.
have this fantasy of having a dragon boat that you know how my river is here, how great it is. Wouldn't it be so rad to have like grown-ups? You know how like kids in this was my fantasy anyway today while I was rowing. You know how
Viking
kids
ship?
have like like shop what are those soapbox cars that like
Yeah.
Boy Scouts or something make? Wouldn't it be cool if adults made dragon boats? Like some kind of wooden ship, like they all just chipped in and we designed boats and we met once a year on the river and had a dragon boat race.
That looks like a dragon?
Well, in certain cultures, like
Hmm.
I think it's in Hawaii actually, theirs are called dragon boats. But if you look into
Hmm.
a lot of cultures, they'll have like something like a lady on the front of their boat or a dragon face or something. But it's
A
like this
mermaid or whatever.
yeah. But I think their ship, and it would be pretty much like the idea of like a Viking ship, how you'd row.
Mhm.
But theirs are in them, and they're long boats. And I know they have them in certain other big cities, where adults just do this. They meet up on the weekend and like have rowing. And I know, like you know, my nieces all did rowing in high school. I don't know why it's not more prevalent, but
I
I don't
think
know.
it's
It's
depending on the
geeky.
school district.
And you gotta live by
Honestly.
the ocean.
Yeah.
It's big in college though, isn't it? Like
Or lake. Like
yeah, lake.
isn't that where most of the like rowing teams
Is
do
it
their big
colleges or
competition?
I
universities?
don't
Like
know.
because isn't that like considered like more of a rich man sport?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
It
the
would have
nicer
all been
universities.
wartime. Like rowing would have been something of prowess that like my guys, if they could row faster, my whole people won the battle.
Yeah.
They
Like
look
if
pretty
you look
good
at
too. Just gotta say.
That was a strategy. Speed.
it's super meditative. Like running, when I'm running, part of it that to go further is and I'm sure this is a thing, but this is what I do. Part of the thing when I'm swimming is I'm sure little parts of my stroke or body, tiny little fragments change throughout the whole time, but I'm generating a majority of the activity where I'm only feeling one muscle at a time. So it's like I'm thinking about my bicep for a certain amount of time. I'm thinking about my tricep for a certain amount of time. I'm thinking about just my thighs for a certain amount of time. And I feel like I move the energy around in such a way that I can go longer.
Yeah, it's a bit, that's what we call mind muscle connection. So you can do a bicep curl forever, but if you don't have the mind muscle connection, you won't see the gains that the person who has a mind muscle connection will get. So like people do like leg extensions where you sit down and you work your quads and you push your legs out. But they don't know you're supposed to be, like, they think that just anywhere in your quads, but if you focus on the center of your quad, there's this little muscle called the rectus femoris. If you focus right there, then you're actually growing your whole quad so much better. But it's like you have to connect your brain to that muscle so you know it's firing.
It's like you're pointing at a muscle and just targeting that in your head. It's like, okay, I feel this muscle. I put my hand there. Or sometimes what helps when I used to work out is put my hand on whatever specific muscle it was, so I could like literally connect with it mentally, and then just make that my focus. Like
I do that
that's
when
why
I do
they
like
say working out in front of a
kickbacks,
mirror
so-
is good, right? Because you can see the muscle you're attaching to.
Yeah, that's I hate when gyms don't have good mirrors, because mirrors do help, and it helps you to know that you're getting the right form too, because it's one thing to like feel like you're doing it right and then have somebody else critiquing like, nah man, your back's rounded and all this, and you're like, no it wasn't, you know, but you could actually see. Or even filming yourself is good. But
yeah, I think that there's something even about people with ghost limbs or something, where phantom limb syndrome, where if they put a mirror on themselves and like release their hand in the mirror, it releases the phantom hand, so they don't have that pain so much.
They even do it as like a test when they cover your actual hand and put a fake hand there, and you know, make it look like it's your hand, and they'll put a hammer to it and they'll hit that hand and you'll feel the pain still, and you'll have it's weird, like just thinking that it's your hand, that pain still happens even though it's not your hand. It's fucking nuts.
Did you guys ever read that book Psycho-Cybernetics?
No.
Like I got into it when I was like probably 13.
No,
I never read
I have
the whole
no
thing.
idea what you're talking about.
Really cool.
This is what I heard you say. Have you guys ever read the book? Blah 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 blah.
I never
Words
read
you
the whole
don't know
thing.
yet.
I just read some of the cool things with it, and it has to do with the power of the mind. But
have you ever read these books called Too Smart Words?
They take a match though, so they blindfold somebody and they take a match and they light the match, and they smell the match. So they heard it striking, they could smell the match, and then they would put it out, and then they would touch like a pencil to the person's hand, and the person would get a blister. It wasn't even the match, but because they had
their body needed to heal that spot.
It's just weird, but it's crazy how powerful your brain is. And somebody just asked in the chat if it was like hyper focus on a particular muscle, and that's what it is. It's because you can do the motion all day and you won't be firing the right muscles, but if you get the mind muscle connection, then you'll be targeting the right one.
I actually have another friend who she has this amazing body for the first time in her life. I mean, she's always been like a cute girl with a great body, but like where she's actually proud of herself, where she feels strong. And she's one of the people where people that say, oh, I hate yoga, I don't like yoga, or I don't get yoga. It's because they don't have that mind muscle connection that you're talking about, because anyone can stand in a lot of yoga poses just like, yep, my arms are up stacked above my head, yep, I'm in warrior pose, like all lazy, and you don't feel it anywhere, like where you're just stacking. Or you can be something that tries to legitimately feel it in every muscle in every pose, which is the point. Like you never need weights to work out your body if you can have mind muscle enough to like just stand there and just flex and hold, like, you can strengthen your muscles so much with nothing,
You
just
know,
connecting to them.
I never like. I just felt like yoga was stretching, and then I did the Wii Fit, which sounds crazy, but they have like yoga on Wii Fit, and for whatever reason, one of your feet goes up on the little platform, and it tells you if you're not like balancing, like putting your weight in the right spot. And the second that I did that, like it does little meters so that way you balance it right. I was like, oh shit. Then I was feeling it in the right spot. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Like all of a sudden yoga clicked for me. I was like, oh, there is something a little bit more than just doing these fucking dumb poses, which they're not dumb. I mean, I love yoga, but I'm just saying that was my thought before.
Yeah.
Y'all, have you guys heard about the Chevron something, deference or something?
Yeah, that
4 hours ago, about all the laws that are unconstitutional, like that from 1908, they're pretty much saying that everyone will be able to practice, like, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but something about it is like constitutional. The laws that were made are unconstitutional, and that we're going back to the Constitution, and like these laws are no longer valid type of deal. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, it
but they
happened a
announced
couple
it 4
days
hours ago.
Or
Oh,
like
really?
well, I think somewhere in the last 48 hours, this, I don't remember if it was Friday, that it was repealed because they were like, this is the Supreme Court's said it was unconstitutional, and so it goes back down to the states, but it takes it away from like big corporations from being able to do it. I'm trying to find a simple term of being able to explain it, because I'm like, I do not have the fucking
I wonder.
I don't have
I wonder if this.
Yeah, thank you. See, I don't even have that word.
The what word?
Vernacular, she said.
Vernacular.
And I'm like, see, I don't even have that word. I can't believe it came out of my mouth back when you asked me what word she said.
You know what book I need to read? That would probably help me a lot. The dictionary. Or a thesaurus, maybe.
So it said the Supreme Court on Friday upended a 40-year-old decision that made it easier for the federal government to regulate the environment, public health, workplace safety, and consumer protections, delivering a far-reaching and potentially lucrative victory to business interest. The court's 6 consecutive justices overturned the 1984 decision, colloquially known as Chevron, long a target of conservatives who have been motivated as much by weakening the regulatory, state, and social issues, including abortion. Look at how they throw this in. This is the Associated Press, by the way. I just want you guys to know. I should have pulled it up on screen. I'm going to. I don't want any. I'm like, this is such a fucking, like, it's so just, so the court's 6 conservative justices see it's like, what does this have to do with anything? What are we talking about abortion for? Okay.
Like, why?
Yeah, like, it's so billions of dollars are
Them's are
potentially
trigger
at
words.
stake and challenging that could be spawned by the high court's ruling. The Biden administration's top Supreme Court lawyer had warned such a move would be unwarranted shock to the legal system. The heart of the Chevron decisions say federal agencies should be allowed to fill in the details when laws aren't crystal clear. Opponents to the decision argued that it gave power that should be wielded by judges to experts who worked for the government. Courts must exercise their independent judgment in deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory authority. So,
experts. That's what I think of the word when they use that term, experts for the government. That jerk-offs.
I know. They usually work for the company that it's, preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir.
It's fucking annoying. Wait, so what do you think about that? What do you think is going to happen with that? Like,
you know what? I think a lot of good stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's all just so they can walk me into the oven. They're like, you know what? Before we walk Chaney into the oven, she'll lose her mind because Chaney's right on the verge of revolution. But if we release Julian Assange, that'll pacify her for another 2 weeks. Like some of the stuff is just like
Comedy.
yeah, like where it's just
A
like
sitcom.
can't sometimes like if we're watching a movie and we have been like we've been allowed to be propagated on since like the Smith-Mundt Act was taken away. So you know, and even longer than that, so many things were MK Ultra, and we even know even when they talked about MK Ultra, they still kept doing. They were like, we destroyed this program.
We
Mhm.
just called it Monarch. We just called it.
Sex kitten programming.
I posted a video of like Lady Gaga interviewing Assange, and I'm like, what the
I saw
fuck?
that.
Why in the world are those two people in a room and she's interviewing him? I'm like,
Since when does she
CIA
interview
puppet?
people?
Puppets everywhere? Even Julian Assange, maybe.
Don't you think it's weird that like right before Julian Assange gets busted, Pam Anderson goes and visits him? Like
So
before he
weird.
gets taken out of the Ecuadorian embassy, Pam Anderson goes and visits him.
And she doesn't discuss anything about that.
Well, look what happened to Pam Anderson afterward. She kind of like had this like public shaming almost, and then like kind of, but then also another weird one is who fucking captured El Chapo?
Oh,
I can't
Yeah.
even remember, but it's a silly actor. Sean Penn. Sean
Oh,
Penn.
shit, yeah.
yeah. The crackhead, cokehead, whatever. That's what I get off of him. Cokehead rapist, child
Madonna
eating.
beater.
Who's writing these scripts?
Oh God, it's a joke. Honestly, at this point, like I'm
But
just like,
This
fuck
is
you
what
all.
I really think for real. These motherfuckers have been getting away with motherfucking shit my whole life. I've been watching it. I've been watching the script, the Epstein Islands, and so now for real, we're watching them all get busted. We're watching like everybody was like, Julian Assange being in the Ecuadorian embassy. This is bullshit. This is only a couple, like in the last couple years. Like everything people know about so much shit is from Julian Assange, and everybody's like, we want him out. He'll never get free. This is such a, and then he's free, and everyone's like, it's not real. It's like, I don't.
Well,
I don't.
Does it
like,
almost not have the Nelson Mandela vibes, though?
like where it's like on my timeline, he was in the Ecuadorian embassy still, and other
But
people are like, on my timeline, he died.
in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he died.
You
and
see, AI is such a problem that we even have to say, was it even real? Like we're even saying that out loud, like almost on a daily basis now as
I'm
a
so
whole.
glad Sarah G said it. I think
Huh?
Assange killed Kurt Cobain because this is how I just feel like, like at some point we're in this like state of ridiculous of like,
Yeah.
like you being
Information.
Like, here's Lady Gaga interviewing Julian Assange, and it's like, why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Why
This is
not?
fascinating.
Yeah, like this is
The witch and the warlock.
this is the timeline we're on. Like, I don't
Medieval
know, but
times. This
they
is
never
medieval
thought they were
almost.
going to be, and it's. I just feel like they were just running the realm. Like, let's just say these witches and warlocks were just running the realm, and they were just having free reign of the realm. For some reason, they don't seem to have free reign of the realm anymore. Like their magic wore off or something, because it doesn't feel like I'm the only one. Even if I just look at the norms, the normie norms, they don't seem as hook, line, and sinker to everything as they normally do. Like with Diddy even, or with like, I just watch the Normski people that are just like, I don't know.
Dude,
they just feel like a
don't you think
little.
it's because enough of us have stopped projecting their scripts and their story, like their broadcasts. Like we realized the broadcast, so we stopped projecting it at the reality mirror. So their big old plot lines and stuff that they've really tried to pull off since the COVID shutdown shit, like lockdown shit, like since all of that, I feel like enough of us have, like us, we're not projecting anything back into the mirror like that anymore. And
well, you know what I think?
I think
Good.
that it's lost its fucking power because it's always been
Yeah.
us.
Well, here's what I think sometimes. I think that these motherfuckers are somehow vampires and they make like a game, right? And the game is because they're so fucking bored, they have to choose a character and they have to make this like world there because this is their stage. This is their playground, these vampires. So, hey, let's just make it interesting, but it will cost your life eventually if you don't, go by the rules, So 2020 was their like harvesting season. Like, you know what? Let's create a plague and just fucking feast out on all these motherfuckers. That's what I think sometimes, that these are vampires.
And let's
Well,
feast out on
hemophilia
these-
is blood love. It's not a
telling you.
friggin' diseases aren't named philias.
It's weird.
Well, pedophilia, is that a disease?
And then we see the repeats of these characters, don't we? Like the same fucking faces, like throughout history and these images. Sometimes I question what I'm watching, but sometimes I wonder, are they fucking vampires and bloodlines are so important? Like it's all about blood.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something for real right now, and it's
Mm.
okay to change my mind, and I could change my mind tomorrow, but I am more likely to believe in vampires over aliens.
Yeah.
Vampires make sense to me. There's enough, like, if you look at all the different lures and all the different, like, possibilities and ways that it works, like, it makes sense to me.
In our culture and history, the ancient Baldician, whatever, they call them vampira. Vampira, they teeth that drink. So they existed. That word wouldn't be an old word for no reason. Like it's an old language. So that word to exist, for it to exist like in ancient times, like it means something. It's not just like a made up thing. So I wonder, could be a possibility. And that's why they want us in during the dark. It's scary to be outside.
Aliens
Be
are
afraid of
fake
men.
and gray.
Fake
No,
and
I
gray.
think it is, because it also is not just about blood. There is something specific that for some reason we have to acknowledge this word somewhere, what it means, what they mean by it. But there is something about virginity that is really fucking important to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Why?
so fucking important to them. It's like from the Virgin Mary to the Virgin's blood to it's like something about it. It's like in the same way that it makes me wonder if that episode, because I talked about the episode with Thomas that I did of the things that we're not allowed to say because we might get pulled down, that the elite
Yeah.
are up to when they harvest shit. I'm like, what words are we gonna say for YouTube? Make sure you like and subscribe on Rumble. this
Yes,
little
please.
chess game
Don't
of
forget.
like linguistics won't last long with me. I'll just get triggered one day and be like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot what I was even saying. That's the point.
But even like the Rainbow Girls, the daughters of the Freemasons, like the biggest tenet of it is to maintain your virginity. And like there's even, I'll never forget, like one of the things, like talking about the altar, it's white, the virgin color. Like that's like a line in the ritual. Like,
But what is it so important to keep it like to
Your
a certain
purity.
point? Okay,
Yeah.
and then when you choose to lose your purity is through choosing it through marriage, supposedly.
Like we were talking a lot about like the elite and how they want to try to keep their bloodline pure, and how maybe they like marry and have incestual shit in this like narcissistic way of keeping their bloodline or their magic pure while we dilute ours in some weird way. But then it also is like the virgin thing is just as important to them. It's like so important for their ritual. It's important in tarot. Like it's just, it seems like it's important in our astrology. It just seems like it's ever present.
Even maiden mother crone, wouldn't the maiden be untouched still?
It's interesting, the whole virgin idea. And you know what I noticed? A lot of these virgin women who are married are still with their partner. Like they're the type of people who will be like forever in a relationship with the person normally.
Yeah.
Like I see, especially in our culture, but now because it's not so like, oh, virgin this, virgin that, you'll, I guess, maybe have a higher divorce rate. Just maybe that's a reason. Because
Yeah,
that
like
attachment,
don't
it's
you
like a
think
blood ritual.
the loss of virginity could be such a high ritual?
Yeah.
That's like the Back to the Clan of the Cave Bear books and stuff, and the goddess worship and the feminine worship. Like, it was a big deal in those books to, like, when a girl came of age, probably like 4 after they got the first period, like pretty much, like a man would be chosen to freaking show her a good time. So her first time was like, she definitely orgasmed and stuff. Like, it was always like, I was like, I like that idea. Like, it should be a ritual, because how many virginity stories are freaking not good?
Horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I know, it's so curious. And then it makes me, let's take a one of my favorite conspiratorial shows. Like, if I wrote a list of movies that or TV shows that I'm like, here sums up in layman's terms what I think the elite are up to, True Blood would be one of these shows. So if what Abbie says, purity meaning white, and then purity maybe meaning white or light, that
white
gives
would be all colors mixed.
and
like
so
the
that would give
rainbow.
the Fae idea how Sookie's blood tasted sweeter than all the other blood to the vampires, and how fairy blood was actually like almost the virgin's blood of True Blood was actually fairy's blood. So that does give some idea to it being pure, like white, as opposed, or pure light,
Clean.
as opposed to just untouched because a penis went in a vagina. I don't know.
That's so bizarre at the same time. Like, that is bizarre to me, the whole virginity idea, and like of the hymen, and like women having that and men not really. Do men have a hymen per se? Is it the foreskin, the extra skin?
Yeah, but I mean, it naturally like releases itself probably
By
around
itself.
the age of 5.
So why a woman? Like, do you see it? There's like something important to that for a reason.
Yeah, there does. It's like is it the womb of it? Is it the sacredness of the untouched womb if you have a DNA exchange? Like,
Or
if
is
there's
it
like,
do not enter? Don't enter. What if that's what it's there for, and you're not supposed to have it at all? I don't know.
that is mind blowing to me. I don't know if I'm ready for that philosophy yet.
Yeah, me neither. I can't.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like, every once in a
'Cause
while when
if
somebody
the-
says something and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, because when you think about it, the spiritual path is like to fight urgency and your earthly like desires and desire for more spiritual like awareness and cleanliness and clear mind and thought, whatever. Maybe that's the way to actually do that, because that's what's the path? I forgot the word of it. It's like a person who chooses the stoic path, but it's not a stoic. It's I forgot what it's called. There's a word for it. Fuck. But they choose to not have kids because they feel like that's gonna. It's it's something else. I'll think of it. It'll come to mind. But it's like the idea of, I forgot what I was gonna say. Letting go, not letting go.
Detachment.
Not detach. It's like if you have
Hermetic?
a child, if you have a child, that's gonna prevent you from like getting in not being in a state of fear or worry or stress or this. Instead, choosing the path where you have like a calmer heart, like something that doesn't stress you in that sense, and like be pure in the soul and mind, and just go your path as that person.
That's Castaneda says that if you have children, you have holes in your energy body where you seep energy, like just like holes in, like in your abdomen, in your energy body. But it's really because your energy is split. I do believe that. Like, I think of it this way: like, your heart before you have kids is pretty whole. You can give little pieces here and there, but when you have kids, your heart no longer is here. It's like out in the world now. It's like mine is split up in 5 other bodies.
Isn't that so cool? Like
Cynic?
let's just stop
Cynicism,
for a minute.
yeah. Cynicism.
Just for
There you
1
go.
second, and we're gonna go back to the cynicism. It's kind
There
of
you go.
fucking cool for parents out there, whatever kids you have. Like that is all, and like a big lot of kids. I can see that, like your big family, and then your big family having family, and how quickly that multiplies into this thing. Like that all begot you. You know, where they're like, you know, when you hear those things in the Bible where it's like,
Yeah.
Layla begot
Lineages.
this person. Like that's so cool. Like, so just, I don't know, if you're a good parent out there and provide that your kids still want to come back and hang out with you with their kids, and then their kids want to hang out with you. If you get the like blessing, the wealth of long life, that's like a cool thing. Like it's a squad you can
awesome.
trust. Like, so anyways, back to cynicism. If that's what I just wanted to be like, whoa, that's like in a way of magic, blessing, miracles, things that we talk about all the time, or words that people are like, you're not allowed to say that because that word means this to this person, and that means you're going to shul. Like whatever thing that
I like
people
that
are
word
up
better
to.
now.
I do too. I'm gonna start saying it all
Me
the
too.
time.
I have been lately
Shul.
too. I'm just like,
Yeah, go to
Or
shul.
call it Hades if you like, but it's the same thing, right?
Shul
Hades
is
isn't
actually
hell. It's just the underworld.
Shut the
a
shul up.
Jewish word for school. You know that, right? Shul is like class or school in I think Hebrew.
Huh.
Shul.
Well, then are
Yeah.
we pronouncing it wrong? Because it's like Sheol, S-H-E-O-L.
No,
Oh my
it's right.
gosh, you just
No, it's
said
the same.
class.
It's one and the same.
Look at what school is. If you abide by
Shul,
the rules
school.
of shul, then you get your class card. So if you get A's through school and then decide to go to the university, then you become a class citizen. So you get to be a higher class if you do good in shul.
And shul.
I'm gonna call school and hell both shul from now on.
Mhm. Yes.
I
There
do
you
love
have it,
some
y'all.
Yiddish. I really do love some Yiddish. One of my favorite ones is, do you have schmutz on your face?
I know.
What
hear
is
you
Yiddish?
say that.
Yiddish,
Is it
like,
Hebrew? It's not Hebrew, is it?
I don't know. I always just think Yenta's like even saying Yiddish and Yenta, I feel racist saying it, but it just feels like
I just
I
see
don't
Weird
know.
Al when I hear those words.
I don't know. We'll see. Somebody in the class in the chat smarter than me, because we were just talking about school and shul. Somebody in class, write it on the board. Write it on the dry
Yes,
erase board.
please.
That's what I would do
Ay,
if we
man.
ever had money. It would all go into building a website so that we could have an actual dry erase board. So when people typed, it was in colors. They could pick, like in MySpace, they could personalize their own thing. Like we were in a chat room, so they could have their
Mhm.
own colors and own things and own like. It would be fun that way. We'd make it
I
look like
miss
old
MySpace
AOL. Yeah, we'd make it look like an
so
old AOL
much.
chat.
I never MySpaced.
What was that other page that was like kind of emo-ish and a lot of it was very lesbian too, like what was it called, man? Like you posted a lot of pictures on there. It was almost like a Instagram, but it wasn't.
MySpace?
No, it was MySpace and something else.
I don't know.
My memory isn't working today, god damn it.
It's okay.
It'll come to me and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Everyone had one.
Did you guys ever, I mean, everybody had this, but do you guys remember a song that you sang wrong for a really long time, and then you were somewhere in life and then you were like,
What?
oh, the lyrics are that, and maybe it made more or less sense?
Tumblr.
Oh, you know, Britney Spears is going to know where lesbians might hang out. Say less. Say less.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. That is so funny. I talked about Becky Brittany Pickle Spears today because
Thank you,
I
Snaggy.
said,
Sorry.
or last night, I was hanging out chatting with the spiders, and they were like, "Oh, Chaney with the hi," and I was like, "That is from Makeup Wipes, Becky Brittany Pickle Spears, hi." Anyways, big up yourself.
Big
All
up,
right.
big up.
Anyways, what else is going on in the world?
STDs are spreading like crazy in Houston.
I just want everyone to know, you know where I think that came from. Really, it's not I don't think it's the injection of that dick. I think it's the injection of something else. Oh, I almost feel
Yeah.
bad. It's like that's even like the amount of that free love that they wanted that to stop too.
17,000 cases a week of HIV. That's fucking nuts.
Well, good thing I'm so married when I'm going to Houston. No, I would keep it in my pants anyway.
Yeah.
I know, but even it's like the amount, if you think of Texas, they are so close to the amount of illegal aliens. I hate that word coming across the border, but it's the reason that undocumented is so interesting is because you could just be brown from anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's so easy to sneak in a whole army through an open border, an unchecked open border.
Yeah. It's wild what's happening.
It is the wild, wild west. For
Yeah.
real.
And like people though today are just fucking nasty too though. Like the way that they're just fucking people just to fuck. And it's just like left and right, next partner, next partner, next partner. Just find one that's unvaccinated and doesn't want to fuck anyone that's not vaccinated, and then go with that. Like literally go with that.
I know. I
Or
think
don't fuck. Yeah.
things. Like, I think you'll avoid so many ailments. I think
Yeah.
everything you're saying is true. I think so many. Okay, I got one. And I don't know where I saw this. I don't know who sent it to me to big up. And I was like, what? This is why they wanted to kill the old people, though. But this is probably why we get in trouble, too, because we're not allowed to talk about nursing homes in New York. Anyway.
It's for entertainment purposes only.
This is entertainment purposes only. We hope you're enjoying
None of it's
yourself.
real.
If
Yeah.
you are liking this, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend.
This is just comedy.
It's just comedy. Da 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 da. But shit. Your grandma. So did you know why Lysol was first created? Like
Lysol?
I saw a black guy on a clip, and this black guy is like, "Y'all, my grandma blew my mind today," and he's like, "My grandma, one of her friends died," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that your friend died," and his grandma was like, "It's because she sprayed Lysol in her panties," and he was like, "What, grandma? No one sprayed Lysol in their panties," and she goes, "That's why Lysol was first invented. That's what they told us all to do as little girls." Was spray Lysol on ourselves.
No way.
Yeah.
Maybe there was something to it before without all the 1,000 chemicals. Like maybe Lysol was a different recipe back in the day compared to now.
Like,
so we can't judge. I don't know.
Maybe
That's
more
fucking
like talcum
wild
powder in a spray can.
I know.
This
I almost
causes
want to look up like Lysol invented.
Honey, air out your panties, honey.
The first Lysol brand antiseptic disinfectant was introduced in 1889 by Gustav Ropenstock to help end a cholera epidemic happening in Germany. Wait, was it? Now I'm like, was it Lysol? I feel like disinfectant, the flu epidemic, before it was promoted as a feminine hygiene product.
It's gonna get rid of cholera.
Women will try anything. Yeah.
And nobody will get cholera.
Oh, really? It would help with this? Sure. Like we're so when it comes to like beauty and stuff and like smelling good, like, oh, really? Okay. We
Yeah,
fall
but
for
you
it.
got to figure women weren't like our level of clean is so different. You know, there was a lot of people, shit, even 40 years ago didn't have plumbing. I would venture to say there's probably people here in Oklahoma that still don't have plumbing.
I don't know why I find that so fucking hard to believe. Because plumbing is like literally the simplest idea of like, how do I solve the shitting problem? Like, even to get water, didn't they have systems, like ancient systems of how you can get water? Like they had like stone pipes just like producing water for towns. They didn't think of like that for shit and piss? I don't
Well,
know.
they had outhouses.
Were they like connected to
I
like
know my mother-in-law
pipes?
like grew up with an outhouse. Like they didn't have a freaking my former
Was it with,
father-in-law in Colorado, they had a sink in their house, but
uh-huh.
they didn't have a toilet. Like they'd have to go out on their porch in a bucket. They didn't have a shower
So,
either. So he went his whole life without a shower until he joined the military, like the Vietnam War. So that's really not that
oh
long
my
ago if you think
God.
about it. Like that was very common. A lot of people did not have like showers, bathtubs in their house.
Yeah, it's
Like
probably
they
because they
would
had a
sponge bathe
reset
out of the
maybe,
sink.
and they were
Yeah.
trying to like, they lost the technology and new people on the what are they? The orphan trains, the Cabbage
Mhm.
Patch Kids, and they populated the world supposedly. That's a fun story.
Some of the Great Reset thing in the orphan trains, it's like we know the idea a little bit, I believe, of African American slavery. I think is such a small portion of the actual blacks that are in America, but it was a way of rinsing away their real history and their real land. And so it was almost like the Native Americans, like they lived here and then they did something, like, and then they lied to their children about the story of where they came from. It's like the orphan trains are that for the planet. All the kids of every single walk. Like there's a reason child labor laws are a thing, because every single like kid was working, where they were like,
Yeah.
oh, where like you almost, it would be
Take
easier
some
to
of these orphans, you got
indoctrinate.
workers.
Yeah, it'd be so much easier to indoctrinate them, to like convince them of whatever history you wanted to convince them of. Like, it's all real. Are you laughing at Riggs?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just reading all the comments and I'm just like,
I was like,
everyone's awesome.
I know. I was like, are you laughing at Fartaria?
Fartaria.
That's only from the mud floods, though. I know. Layla is 4K clear tonight and good sound.
Am I really?
Yeah.
It's a good
feel
night.
good.
I love it. Thank you guys. I don't feel good. I feel just want to go to sleep, but I can't.
I came
Ben
in straight from the gym.
Balderson, big up to Ben Balderson and his like brain and what he knows about alchemy, like just something that my intuition and hunch. And this is why I feel like you can't let them break your intuition. You can't let them break your intuition. And so many people's intuition's broken. And so one of the things that I think is so brilliant, where it's like you're, having an outhouse where your family would all piss and shit. It's even like we were talking about burying your loved ones on land, not in a box that they wouldn't seep out of. Like eventually they'd seep out of it and the tree would grab them and the roots of everything would grab them and they would eventually seep off far enough away. Like they'd be on a hill a lot of the times under a tree, that they would come down into your field. So would your feces. You'd have it far enough away from your house, but it would be far enough but close enough to your farm, so enough rocks and all the water would rinse it, so your plants would know who the fuck you and your family were.
Not only that, you're paying for a fucking plot, a coffin, the service, the limo driver, the funeral home. You're paying thousands of dollars to bury your loved one and make an industry off of death, like it's a fucking
most
game.
of that, do you think?
Like, that is disgusting. I don't know who runs the world. I don't know
who runs this mother.
Fuck
who
it.
runs this mother.
Fuck it.
I know, isn't that crazy? Like a whole business where they're like, "Oh, we've got to get them to think. Like we can't just let them." And even there must be something to it because the ashes, like just the like burning your most of us burning our loved ones because affording a plot on a certain spot of land, it's the same as golf to me. It's like it's a George Carlin joke. Like, what's more useless than golf courses and cemeteries? But I'm like, that's high magic. They're doing rituals with those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like mausoleums. Like, why do all rich people have mausoleums with their bodies and loved ones above the ground?
And stone? Like a
They don't get
grave
rid of their
stone?
body. There's a reason those rich people don't get rid of their bodies. They're like, oh, one day, like in like some great reckoning, the bodies are gonna come back to life.
Kings and queens were like not put in ground. They were put in like beds that were high up off the ground, and they put like a little cloth over them, and they just let them sit there. They put like a type of whatever for their stench, but they would just, prop them up. They wouldn't bury them. Some did fire rituals on the water.
Could you please bring in the stench cloth?
The stench cloth.
Would you lay the sacred stench cloth over the body?
Yeah, something. It does.
I know. And I always bring up this as one of the biggest, like, this is what I think the media does all the time, all the time, all the time. Sometimes the story isn't even there to necessarily make the left, right, or in between think away. It's just there to get them to not have a couple of keywords in a Google search later on to find the real truth. So Walt Disney, on my timeline where the Mississippi runs backward, everybody knew Walt Disney was frozen. Like he had cryogenically frozen his body. And so now it's like a thing you can't find anywhere. But I believe that's the Disney Frozen theory, is that they put the movie Frozen. So when you put in Disney Frozen, it even mocks you with a song, let it go, let it go. And I'm like, that's some shit.
It is some fucking shit.
When the elite, but I also like tip my hat to the elite sometimes when I go on digs, because it's happened a few times where you go on digs and you put in a thing, and you go on digs and you put in a thing, and you run across where it's like, if you put it in, like, I want to search everything, I want to search images, I want to search videos, I want to search, and you'll press videos and you'll get rickrolled. Shit like that. You're like,
yeah, Disney. Interesting. I don't even like seeing the logo anymore. Like, Disney, like, fuck that. I'm not going to watch it. Like, but then sometimes I'm like, maybe I could learn something because they want to show us something. But then I'm like, is that part of their programming? Like, let's pull them in. Maybe they'll think that we're showing them something, but let them watch it and we'll just like hypnotize them secretly with some MK Ultra bullshit.
That's what I kind of think Joe Rogan is. Go on, Abbie.
I was gonna say, I think that anything that you watch, as long as you have your inner guardian activated, you're fine.
This is something that's not esoteric that I think people should do more. And like Abbie and I were talking about this one day, of like, the armor of God prayer isn't esoteric if you read it. It's like there's just principles of putting on your armor of God every day as a person that I think people need to do in a practice, because there's a whole bunch of MK Ultra people out there that I believe you can be MK Ultra to practice somebody else's ritual, make that ritual have power, and then do something with that you're completely unaware of. Like,
that sounds like religion to me for some reason. First thing that came into my mind, boom, religion.
Hollywood's the biggest religion on the planet to me. That's why # Church of Hollywood on Instagram, as long as it's there. I've lost so many hashtags, but that's why
they're idols. They're idols.
What the fuck was that? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. What happened?
Sorry.
What the fuck was that?
Like big booms, and it just shook the whole fucking floor. I don't know if it's downstairs or something happened. Like it went boom, boom. I was like, what the hell?
I don't know. Now I'm so curious. I'm like, is Godzilla in the Gulf? That's what I always wait for. That's where my head went. Like, because you're so close to the water, I'm like, it's Godzilla. That's what the movie doesn't get real to me, and this is where it can't go all the way to my pendulum because I'm so like disenchanted with the boringness of like famine, plague, war, famine, plague, war. I'm like, unless a big lizard comes out of the ocean, don't wake me up.
When dragons are around.
Yeah, like if somebody gets their dragons, I'll fuck around with Bluebeam. I'm like, okay, show me your alien. I gotta see what you got. Let's see your alien ships. Let's see everyone's videos of how much better the alien ships look under their phones.
Dude, I watched this freaking reel of Jim Carrey today, though, where he's like, you know, he does the impersonations and stuff and he changes his face. But it was freaking pretty wild. He like switches to John Wayne and he does this thing where he starts moving his jaw and he moves this part of his nose, which seems weird. But then his ear right in here starts moving and his face totally transforms. Like his nose from the profile, he turns this like his jaw and everything looks totally fucking different. And then when he's done, he kind of goes like this and like he's back to his Jim Carrey face. But it was like, was that actually showing you that it's like all not real? That they're shapeshifters? That they're lizards?
He could do a lot of
That
weird
it is
stuff
a
with his
mask?
face. I feel
Oh,
like
I
when
know.
I was practicing voices, one of the voices everyone practices is like impersonating is like Jack Nicholson. But if
Yeah.
you do a Jack Nicholson impression, you have to have a Jack Nicholson. It's like what the sex face, how
Like
we were
the
talking
sex
about
face when you
earlier.
have the orgasm, yeah.
Yeah. When you do Jack Nicholson, you have to have a Jack Nicholson face.
When you do
Yeah.
Trump, you kind of have to have a Trump face.
You have to have a Trump face. Like, what's your Jack Nicholson face if you were to do a Jack Nicholson impersonation?
What's that Italian guy that was?
I think of the Joker, so I'm like,
Me too.
yeah.
That other one, man. He's an actor. He was in New York talking shit about Trump and all that. Robert De Niro. That face. You have to make the Robert De Niro face when you're talking like him. He's like that
Oh, you did
weird.
that good. I like it.
Like,
It's
my
weird.
Joker face. This is what I think of the Joker. Let's see if I can make a Joker face. Hold on. It's actually good. I can see myself because it's almost like a mirror. Because this is why your muscle attachment. You sometimes think you're doing it, but you can't do it. Let's see. Hold on.
There's so many muscles in your face.
And you know how you can't usually do this stuff when you're put on the spot. Like you're
Yeah.
like, no, but I'm breaking my own paradigm right now. I'm gonna be like, yeah,
Guys.
here's my Jack Nicholson impression. Do it. What?
If you ever get a chance, just search at how this muscle here looks like. It is the fucking creepiest, ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I wish I
can't
never
do it
researched it. It's just
I
like
can't
a
do it
weird.
anymore.
You
Like
guys
a
got to check it out.
pidgeymudge?
The
Did
muscles
you
on your
mush?
face are trippy. Like, did you know you have 4 smiling muscles? Like, that's why some people like smile with their gums. Like, when they're
Yeah.
like that, it's because they're using like a whole different set. They're using these muscles right here.
The face
like-
is weird.
Yeah.
This is
how it
my Jim
works.
Carrey, another one, like Fire Marshal Bill.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, I should have done it without hair too. I can try it again later on. But yeah, Jim
Talking to
Carrey
me.
is helpful with making impressions because he's so
Talking to me,
exaggerated.
motherfucker.
Yeah, he is. It
Talking
was
to
just
me.
the way that his ear moved. Like, I wasn't
my
even
God.
really convinced that it was weird until you could see, like, it wasn't his whole ear. It was like this, like the docked area.
Yeah, it is. And you have to be able to like do weird. You do have to be able to have different smile muscles.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? There's who is it? There's somebody that it drives me crazy. I'll think about it in a second. It's a famous person. Oh, is it Michelle Obama maybe that they talk with their bottom jaw? They like talk and
Yeah,
you see
that
their
is
bottom
her.
jaw the whole time, and I'm like,
Yep.
that's the stuff I notice on like, hi you guys, thank you for coming. It's like so
They're
weird.
like, do they have top teeth? I sit there. I do that all when people do that. I sit there and like have to stare and like, do they not have teeth on the top? Like, it's
Some
so
people
weird to me.
train themselves to be bottom teeth speaker or upper teeth. Yada yada.
One of the songs that I didn't know the words to that I sang wrong for a really long time is The Sign by Ace of Base. I thought it was The Sun.
Are you kidding me?
It
I
is the
thought it
sun,
was.
no?
No, it's
No,
I saw
I
the
saw the
sign.
sign, and it opened up my eyes.
No.
They're
No.
Swedish.
Yeah, I
It
thought
was
it was.
always that
I
way?
saw the sun, and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sun. That's how I
Yeah.
first thought it was, but it's not. It's
I saw
I
the
saw the
sign.
sign. Layla, what if we were on a different timeline once?
Dude.
I doubt that's it. I think you guys just heard it wrong.
No, because this is one of the first things.
Everyone I
Like,
know is saying it like sun. I didn't know it was
Sign.
sign. Holy shit, what happened to the world? I don't know. Oh
That's
my
my-
God. Mind
So
blown
I was
right
thinking
now.
about that. I was thinking about the weird that you brought that up because I was thinking about I think of certain words because when I do an Instagram post, I want to think of like a word and think of a song. So like I try to associate words. So like Tesla, they sing a song about signs, and then there I saw the sign, the Ace of Base, like. But for whatever reason, I was thinking about that song today because it is kind of weird. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. Like I feel like that's kind of magic.
That is. What sign?
Ace of Base. All that she wants is another
Is
baby.
another baby.
She's gone.
She's gone
tomorrow.
tomorrow. All that
That
she
said
wants.
no woman ever.
Is
All that
another
she wants
baby.
is another baby, and then she'll be
No.
gone tomorrow.
But doesn't that remind you of that song by Heart? Like
Yeah. All I wanna do is make
The beat was
love.
nice too. All that she wants is another baby. She's
They had
gone
Ace of Base had
tomorrow.
one more hit. They had one more little
Yeah, there was one more.
bop. One more bop.
and it sounds
Say it in
exactly
the
like the other
chat.
two.
Whoever says it in the chat first.
You're a
I wanted to
G.
give away a contest, but I'm like, I already have to mail this stuff to you guys, and you don't understand what that adds to the list with my weird brain.
Mm,
So, she wants
What
to be
else?
knocked.
What else?
All that she wants is to
Wants
get knocked
is-
up and become a single mother.
That was the program. Oh my God. Because that was a spell. Everybody sang that song. It was a hit, baby. Like that was a summer hit. It was everywhere and everyone knows the lyrics. Anywhere you go, any club.
That's what else happened this week is come my lady, come my little lady, I'll be my
You want
butterfly, sugar. I think that guy died
baby.
this week of a drug overdose.
Drug overdose.
Well, then it's so interesting that we had all the celebrity rehab people, and he's one of the people on the celebrity rehab with Dr. Drew. And so all those people are so sus and curious to me. Like they're all so interesting, almost like let's get ahead of this, put all their problems out there for the world to see so they never out anything. But then I also am like, what is this really? Will the ritual be done to bury other things? That's where I always wonder sometimes of like, who gives a shit about Shaggy?
And then I wonder how people know that this shit happens in Hollywood with the majority of these characters and they still inspire to be an actor. It's like they're asking for their doom at the same time. Because the chances are of you being a Nicole Kidman or, I don't know, Michelle Pfeiffer, is that another A-lister? To get to that level, I'm talking about you're probably going to get raped, used, shitted on, throwed up on, all kinds of things, maybe used for rituals. Like, oh yeah,
shit.
yes, there you go.
That's that bop.
Yep. I don't want to see you cry.
Oh, God.
Just walk away.
Oh shit, that is awesome. We forgot we had moved on. That's
I love you guys.
Then Ace of Base. Oh
Dude,
shit.
you guys are just so great. I love y'all.
Good job, Serious B.
Yeah. And Dr. Drew didn't do a very good job.
Mm.
Like who came out of celebrity rehab good? I feel like everybody died out of celebrity rehab. Rodney King was in celebrity rehab. Who sang stop, drop, shut him down, open up shop.
Oh my God, I hate the DMX. I fucking hate that song. It gets stuck in my
He was
head like
celebrity-
an earworm and it never goes away.
You should put
Fucking
it on your
DMX.
workout list, and then it won't be an earworm anymore. Because
No.
the new thing with earworms that you have to think about is that maybe God only speaks to you in the universe, like the universe or your loved ones only speak to you in the language that you understand. So if something's getting to be an earworm for you, there's something else about it that you're needing to do. There's
I
something
need to be
else
a rough
connected to
rider.
it. Yeah.
That's how rough
Something else.
riders roll.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
there's another
DMX.
version of that.
And look at Tom Sizemore. Tom
Oh,
Sizemore is
no.
the reason he's so
Your
curious
mother's
is he dated Heidi Fleiss for a really long time. And Heidi Fleiss was the Hollywood madam. And the Hollywood madam had a black book, like the DC madam, like Marilyn Monroe, like a lot of these people, like they keep life insurance, like Anthony Weiner, for a reason. So it's Tom
She had a stud
Sizemore.
farm in Nevada too, didn't she?
Yes, she had like a kitten ranch the same way. She ended up like crazy with. She's still alive on my timeline.
Mm.
I think
thought
Heidi
she was
Fleiss
still
is
alive.
still alive
I
on my
think so.
timeline. Let's look it up. Let me look it up right now.
Drum roll.
Heidi Fleiss today. I know. I wish I need a Siri. Hey Siri, is Heidi Fleiss still alive? Oh, yep. We can follow Heidi Fleiss at the official Heidi Fleiss on YouTube. Okay, let's see. Or not YouTube, on Instagram. So Heidi Fleiss is, but she hasn't posted for a long time.
Honestly, I felt like Dr. Drew.
Nope,
was
one
done
day ago
after
she
Love
posted
Line.
a parrot outside Louis Vuitton, and it says, "All you people who think this is cool, I hope this happens to you."
Mm.
A parrot?
Yeah.
Hope. So what does that mean? A parrot and a Louis Vuitton, and hope this happens to you.
And she has a
That's
Bible
cryptic.
of truth. If you find my stuff
Oh,
offensive, don't look at it. Because she ended up with a lady, like some random old lady she took care of. She ended up with her parrot farm. Oh, look
Hmm.
at. Oh, well, I don't want to. Never mind. I'm not going to pull up Instagram right
This is
now.
some
But there's
God,
this.
I
soul
want a parrot
transference
farm.
thing. Because they know how to speak. Is it like some sort of like a soul transference thing? Because parrots are known for speaking, and it's like odd that
Here's
they
what else
actually.
you're saying that is blowing my mind. Think of how long those motherfucking things live. Like if it was some kind of in between, like an egregore, like some kind of, you know how there's that like a relic idea where you could hold energy, or a totem that you could hold energy of a person trapped inside something. What, like, think of how long parrots live and how
Yeah.
like
And
I
all
know,
you
like
need
an
is the
African
egg.
gray lives like on average like 74 years or something like that. So like if you get an African gray as a baby in your 40s, like that motherfucker's gonna outlive you.
Hmm.
it's looking around
I
at
don't
all
know.
your
It's
shit. Like, I
interesting.
wish this lady would Marie Kondo some of her shit.
I mean, referencing to that pig, because she says, "Oh, I hope this never happens to any of you." Like, does she know somebody, and the energy transference rituals to, like, I don't know, send the
Well,
soul
here's
into a
something.
bird?
Isn't that what is
That's
in
the
the
only thing I think
Bible,
of.
Abbie? What's in
What?
the Bible, or maybe it's in the Quran, or maybe both, where like doesn't like a whole bunch of souls get banished into pigs?
Oh yeah, it's the
Mm.
Legion. So this one man is like super possessed, and he's like tied up with chains and stuff, and Jesus like casts out the entity, but before he casts it out, said, "Hey," like it got really scared. He said, "Name yourself," and he goes, the entity said, "We are Legion, for we are many." And then he said it asked to, like, it was afraid, and it said, like, "Don't just cast us out, put us into those pigs." And so Jesus did it, but then the pigs just ran off the cliff into the water.
Mm.
Into the water, I would think, and like that the water's conductive, and then the spirit could travel through the fucking salt water until it got into something else. And part of, like, what if this weird way, like for their evil kind of spirits, they have evolution always. Like that's a thing they tell themselves, so they could always go back to the sea and crawl back out again.
And what if they do it on
But
like a
does the salt
fucking
water contain 'em?
stormy night where it's thundering and you have that, lightning bolt energy that goes into the water to add to that. So you have that actual conductive energy. And you see a lot of these rituals that they do, it storms up and this lightning bolt of energy starts to like roll in all the thundering clouds. So that's like an analogy they try to show us. Like you need that in a sense to create your magic. And they want us all afraid of it, thunderstorms.
Did you have a favorite Care Bear?
Grumpy.
I don't remember.
I'm a grumpy
I don't-
person.
I don't remember mine.
I like all the grumpy characters.
I love
Oscar the
Grumpy
Grouch is
too.
my favorite on Sesame Street.
I
Anybody
was
don't
that's
remember
thinking
mine.
if we had Secret Society of Good Guy merch, I would like Care Bears. Like they don't have to be real humans; they can be a color with the thing on the chest. But what would be on your Care Bear's chest if you had one symbol?
like we're not picking an actual Care Bear
No,
symbol.
like if you
Angel
are
wings.
a Care Bear, you just have angel wings on yours. That's cute.
That's it.
I'd have to think longer. What would you pick, Chaney?
Probably sunglasses and a joint.
I like
you know
that.
the 8-bit sunglasses with the joint that falls like on that thug where it's like ding 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 ding. That's what I would just have on my bear's belly.
I like it.
I like that.
That's how I'm
So
really
it doesn't have to
happy.
be in theme of like the Care Bear like idea. It could be anything.
No, maybe that would be my
Oh.
Care Bears thing would be Stony.
Oh.
I'm really happy if I have a joint in my mouth and sunglasses on. It's my favorite.
I
like to be a
I don't know
little
about
observer.
sunglasses, but the joint, yes. I concur.
I feel invisible when I have glasses on in public. It like alleviates some of my social anxiety.
It
That's why I have
bothers me.
glasses on a lot.
I hate having glasses on. It's like an irritant.
I
When I have
always
them on,
think
I'm
that
like, ugh.
dark eyes are less prone to being irritated by the sun.
Yeah, I like sunglasses. I need them.
Like my eyes are so irritated by the sun sometimes. I can't help it. Like they'll just pour water. And I don't know if it's like yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah, when it's
I like
bright,
to
I'm
be up
like
all
walking
night.
out with my eyes like barely open if I don't have sunglasses.
I do also feel like I have the opposite superpower at like I can't see shit during the day at the beach, the glare. Like I have to have sunglasses on the whole time. I wish I didn't have to have sunglasses on. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like I almost see too well. Too much light comes into my eyes. But it's like at nighttime I can see everything in the sky and I always can find all the objects. Like if there's any kind of UFO or any kind of it's like I can see so easily at night.
Yeah.
It's like my eyes are happier. I don't know.
Interesting.
I always wonder what eye color because it's important to the elite somehow. It's important to Big Trouble in Little China.
This is weird. I wonder if like humans as a whole are supposed to stay balanced, like night and day, like balance. What if skin color and eye color has everything to do with when certain human beings should be up at the daytime and versus the nighttime? What if that's a thing and we don't even like think about that? Because since the sun is really irritant to the light colored eyes, maybe there's something to that. Maybe you're all more moon childs and then there's the sun children and moon children. I don't
I
know.
also wonder if there's something to the time you were born, though. Like I was born at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm not a morning person. I'd rather be up all night.
Huh. That's
Yeah,
curious.
you too, Chaney.
Yeah, I was born at like 3:27 a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
so it makes sense
But
that you're
and-
even more of a night owl than I am.
But I also think that like there's something about like there would have to be fire watch and there would have to be seafarers, and this is where I think they would want to scare the darker people off the sea and tell them they were brought over in slave ships, because have to gander if everything's a lie, then they were great seafarers. They knew things instinctively, like the way their boat sailed, like pirates, so to speak, or Moors or Phoenicians or Vikings or these other great things,
Don't
whatever
you
we
think of
think
the
they
seafaring
are.
people, like the sabers and stuff that the Moors would have, the rounded blade? Doesn't that seem like seafarers to you, not just desert people?
Yeah. Or on the front of their boats even.
I mean, if there's under earth people and they had underground cities, like, and it really didn't affect them in any way, this could kind of be a thing. Sun people, moon people, like a good, unique, balance with
Yeah.
nature and all. Like,
So you
that
think
kind of makes
underground
sense in
people
my
would
head.
be very white? Because I know
Yeah.
like certain bugs and stuff that are born deep in these caves are all albino, and they're all
Yeah.
blind.
Interesting.
And don't you also maybe think, like, maybe in humanity, if it, in ways there would be these strongholds, like kind of like civilization areas where, like cities, because those would be places that gypsies, so to speak, or migrating people would stop and follow the suns and seasons. And so they would stop at these places like during certain times, and it would just be a very natural thing for humans to migrate more so.
Maybe it's the equinox. There's 2 equinoxes where everyone experiences the same daylight and nightlight equally on the planet, like the same amount of time. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a time for that during the
Yeah, it's
equinox.
so curious. Or just think of like a time on the planet, like, they have their certain dates now where, like, let's say a third of the population celebrates Christmas, or like a, blank amount of the population celebrates Hanukkah, or a blank amount. Like, but these rituals on these dates, imagine if there was something that like the whole world did that was just peaceful. And like, I really think the idea, it makes me sad it's so demonized, because the idea of Thanksgiving to me is the most beautiful holiday.
I agree.
Like the idea that we all bring our best shit before a winter. We all bring our stuff that we're most proud of. We don't want it to go bad. So we all bring it to all feast and like break bread with each other and commune before we all
Yeah.
go into our harsh winter. And
Yeah.
it's like, it would
And it's
be.
not gifts. It's not about gifts.
No,
Or like,
we're all like, thanks. We're giving thanks for like everything that I went through in my life to be so rich that I have all these wares to bring or this food to bring, and giving. I can't wait to give it to you.
yeah.
Like, if you come empty handed, don't worry about it. But then
And don't you
next
feel like
year,
all
you're
the food is
excited to
prepared
give.
with love too? Like
Mhm.
The most amount of pride, and in a good way, that good way of pride. Like, I can't wait
my family
for
loves it.
them to get to
It's
have
my
my best.
Yeah.
So why is there
Like,
so much family drama during Thanksgiving? There's
Football.
always drama.
This is
Is
why
it
they have to go
football?
bastardize it by adding like professional sports on it. I don't know.
It's
I'm not
not
saying
usually
that.
the case, but that's how
Oh,
they portray it. Like, oh my God, Thanksgiving, where the family drama happens. And it's like, oh, like there's always some kind of drama that happens. Somebody slept with somebody's cousin or something and whatever.
it has to
So
get
weird
hashed
shit.
out
probably.
before winter, before we're all going to get locked in the house together.
True.
Let's fucking hash it out. Like, let's
Yeah.
say the
Yeah.
things that have been buried under the table. Like,
Yeah.
let's say it.
We can be thankful
Mhm.
for that too. Yeah.
I kind of like it. I don't like the football thing. That has I even in my life have watched it just take over Thanksgiving Day. I know it's always kind of been a thing, but it just feels like all day now on
Now it's
Thanksgiving
rushed.
football.
Everything's rushed
Like,
and centered
yeah.
around the football game for certain
Yeah.
people.
And so I'm
That's
just like,
so,
So they're not present anymore because
yeah,
they're
turn that shit off. Like, ew. Like, what are you guys like putting on football on a day of like being thankful and like distracting yourself of intimacy with all those people for a game that's scripted? That isn't even real? Like, what? Bugging. Bugging.
it is
That's
kind of funny
insane.
how, like, we all know our trash TV. This is where something I like how, how girls say mansplaining. I have learned that there is girl math. This is where it's like, that shit don't make sense. That's some girl math that you just did. Like, I
But
feel
it
like that's
is.
like girls do some shit with math where they're like, oh my gosh, if I buy 2 of these right now, I get one free. I'm like, but you don't need one of those right now. Like, but it's like savings. Girls care about what they save, and guys care about what they spend. It's like that's girl math. Like that, how much you saved thing at a supermarket isn't there because guys are like, yep, look at me. I saved $47 today. That's for women. They're like, oh, if I spend a certain amount of more money, I can get the most amount of savings I've ever got before.
Yeah.
Like,
and usually it's a scam unless you're couponing. You're one of those.
Oh God, that's work.
And everything
That's
that
a
you
lot
get
of work.
couponing a lot of the time is all shit for your shelves, like MRE shit. It's like
Yeah.
peanut butter. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get 6 pounds of peanut butter today.
Sure.
Yeah, I need all this. And then you find yourself eating some shit. Just like, how many people in America, because it's getting so tight, are having to eat on these food cycles of what's for sale on these BOGOs. So how easy would it be for a couple of corporate stores to all decide what most of American families are going to eat, in turn making them fat or poison them all at once, or, you know, making them all fucking flaccid at the same time. I don't know what shit they're up to. Like, but doesn't it seem like if they know these dates of like, we're all going to watch 10 football games on this day and eat all the same food, and look at butterball turkeys, all these little butterballs are going to be eating butterball turkeys on this day. Like, it seems kind of perfect. Like if you were going to do a distinguished gentleman or whatever that where Samuel L. Jackson plays the evil villain in that movie where everybody on their phones and their heads blow off.
Wait.
I haven't seen that one.
Why? It sounds familiar.
It's like a comic book movie. Tell me, I think it's The Distinguished Gentleman, but I could be wrong.
I probably seen it once because it's like vaguely in my brain, like vaguely seeing that.
And I feel like
probably like a one-time thing as a kid. It's an 90s movie, right? Or no?
No, it came out like in the last few years. There's two of them now. There's two of them now. And it has Abbie is the lead character on it. He's like some little British white kid. And that one part, they even show you what the elites do to dogs, how they're like, you have to raise this dog and love it and teach it these things. Now kill it.
What? Like emotional damage. Holy fuck.
That's what they say. Like, there's like rituals that the elite do with their children because they want to break you from empathy. They don't want you to be empathetic. So if they do that to you at a really young age, and that's where like the splitting of your personality, almost in a way, can you ride the strongest of your personalities? Because if they can break your empathy at a young age and get you to see yourself better than your fellow human. And that's what a lot of these elite do in their bloodline. They're like,
that's disgusting.
And they like to keep it like it's a cold thing. Like, it takes a lot to break a human from not feeling when another human's hurt or injured.
Back to the whole Britney Spears of it all. I watched this video where they were showing like old interviews with Britney versus what she says on Instagram. And it was stuff like, what's your favorite meal? Some interview she did way back when. She's like, oh, like, don't you like steak and potatoes? And she's like, oh no, steak always hurts my belly. I can't eat it. And then then they're talking about her new Instagram video, and she's like, oh, steak and potatoes is my favorite meal. I don't get it very often, and I'm so excited to eat it. And it's so weird, like all these differences. Like it was a whole bunch of things from old interviews versus what she says now. And like, all I could think is, okay, so maybe that's not her. Maybe that is AI. But
yeah, it's
maybe
not.
she really just is a split personality, because some split personalities have freaking insulin resistance and have to have, like, you know, you can become the thing.
Like you were talking about earlier with touching with a pencil.
Psycho-cybernetics.
Yeah, it's like once you believe it now, like you just.
Yeah. I saw a post today. I was sent this post by a fellow follower, and they're like, oh, since you're into Britney, here's a really great post. So it was going viral on TikTok, but it was banned after a while. But it was a photo of Britney Spears, the actual Britney Spears, the real one. And like her face, you could just see it I knew, like, you know, when you know, like, the person's like, oh shit, that is really Britney. That I could not like say that that was not Britney. It was Britney, and it was taken in France, somewhere in France. And it's like either she's in hiding or someone's hiding her. And whatever we're seeing in display with the fucking dancing and shit, I don't know. That is someone's taking control of that account, and it's not Britney Spears. That is for sure. And everyone's convinced of it. And when your knowing tells you that something's off, usually you're right. You know,
Don't you feel like in the same way, you know, there's so much that Dave Chappelle said in that Oprah interview that needs to be dissected over just the men in dresses thing. And one of the things that he says is that they told him that if he didn't go along with this before he left, from the time leaving there to before he got to his house, the world would think he was crazy. And he was like, I'm Dave Chappelle. Like, and before he got to his house, the whole internet was ablaze and everything. And Dave Chappelle didn't take the deal, and he was letting go of millions, and he was moving to Africa and a drug addict. And it was just, that's how quickly. So it makes you wonder in like a Britney Spears way, if she's on the lam, or these certain celebrities, like they own your likeness. Britney Inc. is a thing separate than you. Like Elvis's thing is separate than him. It makes you wonder. It's like, look at how valuable that is to them. So now they own all your accounts, all your likeness, and you just have to sit and suck it up from somewhere in the world. And you're like, but that's not me at all. But then at some point you don't give a fuck because the fame was with it. Like that was the treasure of the demon or something. I don't know. Britney fucking Spears. I really think she's an adrenochrome bank, but I don't think that account's real.
She seriously says she's freaking gets her blood taken 8 times a week. That's insane.
Heart of Aries says it's Cancer season, and Cancers actually have the most sex of all the signs.
Wow. I know they're not the most sexual, so that's kind of interesting.
They're not the most sexual. They're a water sign.
I know.
Water signs tend to be a little sexual.
They do.
A little sexual. Cancers are chatty and can listen at the same time that they talk. They are thick-skinned. And they're kind of soft in the inside. They're a lot like scorpions in so many ways. Yeah. Who would think that they're having so much sex? Good on you, Cancers.
Not me. I want to find that Britney Spears video.
So
now.
if Cancers are having so much sex too, like, do you think there's, you know, we know some people could just be hornier than other people, and that could be okay. The part is like, isn't it weird that, like, if we were evolution, isn't it weird that the best of us isn't the horniest?
Speak for yourself.
Well, I was just thinking of like, you know, certain.
I got good genetics to pass on, so you know, I've got 5 kids.
Do you think like Elon Musk has good genetics to pass on?
Maybe not physically.
Doesn't he have hair plugs?
Oh, he seems like the worst genetics to me. I just think nothing about Elon Musk is attractive. But I do think Nick Cannon could have great genetics to pass on.
I'd agree with that.
I think Elon Musk wears like Skims to like flatten him out to make him look very boxy because he's fat. He's not thin. So they wear these spandex things to make him look very like, you know, because his body just looks weird. He looks like a box, like a huge.
He looks like a Tesla truck.
Yeah,
he does.
Those are so ugly. Oh my God, I see him all the time around here. that is the ugliest fucking thing ever.
They make my lady dick soft.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, in my head, all the things I need a truck for, you can't do any of those things with a Tesla truck. So it's not really a truck just because you put big tires on it. Mm-hmm. It's more, it's like a minivan, a different shaped minivan, an electrical, cool minivan. It's fine, but it's not a truck. Let's not mince words. Let's not make people forget what a truck is.
A truck is either a really good truck is a diesel. Like, you want to talk about a truck? It needs diesel. That's a truck. Not, hey, let me charge my car here for like 45 minutes to an hour. I'm so fucking manly. Look at me. Like,
Where I grew up, it just had to have 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive was a truck.
I appreciate the patience.
I
45 minutes to charge my car, but fuck that.
I think I just read an article that was like 50% of electrical car users regret their decision and want their gas car back.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
majority.
imagine so.
The majority have owned one, and then because like after a year, like they become trash, like literally after a year. So people who usually had a Tesla will go back to gas, unless they're really that fucking stupid and love all that radiation surrounding them in that car.
Can you imagine sitting in your car? This is another real thing that I didn't know about. You can't, there's something with a Tesla that when it's updating, it will lock you in the car.
Yeah.
Like
in 100-degree weather.
Like it warned you and says, like, it does this whole thing. Like it's a computer, like the same way your computer asks you a thing. Oh, you have this new app update, or your phone, how it's like you have 14 new apps. Imagine having to sit somewhere where your car fucking updates.
And you got to be somewhere like ASAP, you know?
Yeah,
like, oh, I got to send my
work.
mom to the hospital or something. Like, you know, the ambulance are not coming in time, or it's a life and death situation. Oh, let me wait for my car to charge. You're so smart.
It's so wild. That's the only other reason that they have to make gas so expensive, is because it would be too expensive to charge your car comparatively. Because there's no way you can logically tell me that you need petrol and coal to create your electricity, but somehow putting 4 middlemen in the way of your vehicle is cheaper for you. Like your city, your electrical plant, your whatever you plug into. Like that's at all better.
And I'm pretty sure that don't most of them you need like petrol for those machines to run properly or something? Or is that something else I'm thinking about?
I don't know. I think all of the electrical plants pretty much run on coal, and that's the idea of clean coal.
Fossil fuel too,
another fossil fuel. But the idea of clean coal, this is what makes me believe in some kind of ancient tree idea, almost like whether it was a life tree, but it mixes somehow with the Avatar idea, is that clean coal is some kind of condensed coal that burns for longer and stronger. And then if you think if you burn this coal and we actually had coal power plants, like what if something for the realm that we were supposed to do was have coal power plants? Because when we had coal power plants, it was releasing the emissions into the atmosphere, but what that was doing was causing a greenhouse effect in a good way that was making super fauna. So we were providing life for the giants by giving them enough oxygen to breathe, because the fauna had to be bigger. And the way we kept the giants alive, like our little peon selves was keeping them alive, was that we took this coal and burnt it. So we were providing oxygen to the atmosphere for them. Like it makes sense to me that we would do that.
Bro. Cool story, bro. Oh my God. I just love it. But we have to believe it, right?
I know there's just some part of a coal plant that doesn't seem bad for the atmosphere to me. It seems like like in a greenhouse, like if I have a greenhouse and put like CO2 in it or release that in there, like if I have dry ice in there and release it into my greenhouse, my plants are like, yippee skippy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Weird times, I'm telling you.
Of it all. Like what we exhale is what they inhale, and what their freaking waste product is what we.
And so in that idea is like, if we had these power plants, what about if it was good, or like if we had these coal burning plants or whatever, it was good for all the vegetation. It created more vegetation on the planet, not less. And so then you were saying that other thing, Layla, like 80 or 90% of the trees that all the cities have now are all male. That would be another reason why all the fucking bees are dying.
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be because of all these other things that they're trying to. It's like not just if they could kill everything with their pesticides and their poisons and their Bill Gates thing, they would, but they can't just kill it, but they can take away what it needs slowly, like us with water.
Apparently, it's a male's world in the tree world. Male dominant. Fucking
Male
shit.
ass is
Speaking of
dom-
bees,
We are tree
Male
feminists
dominant.
here on the Secret Society of Good Guys. We are tree feminists, and we think there needs to be more female trees.
Trees ASAP. Oh God.
Oh my gosh, I know. When are we gonna have Tree Month? When are we gonna have Tree Pride Month?
trees aren't gay.
Trees aren't gay. We should start a whole thing that says trees aren't gay. Thank God trees aren't gay. Because
Well,
think of just how crazy and ridiculous that is. Like, because then I bet this is the world that we live in, and this is why we can't. If we make trees aren't gay, somebody automatically, idiots, we'll read a New York Times post tomorrow that says scientists at Yale have done a study and realized that trees are gay.
I know.
Like this is the kind of stupid fucking world that we're in now. Is us talking about
is.
shit, mocking it, and laughing.
All of a
it
sudden we're gonna
becomes
have
the
gay
reality
trees.
tomorrow. Yeah, where they'll put us in a world of like. Now that'll be a talking point at Thanksgiving this year. Is you're having a trans discussion with somebody, and look at I have Jack Nicholson face when I'm talking about it. You have a fucking trans conversation with somebody at Thanksgiving. It's so ridiculous. And their debate with you is no, the Yale Harvard said that trees were gay, so it does exist in nature. You're like,
maybe they're trying to do that.
you know,
Like-
I did a study. I put a plant in a pronoun-free bowl, and then I put a different plant in a he, him, and a different plant in a she, her. And the one that didn't have a fixed pronoun actually grew the best.
Well, they do have self-pollinating trees now, which like
Mind blowing.
yeah, because cherry trees used to have like a male and a female, but now they have the self-pollinating where you can just have one.
That's what
That's
they're trying
bizarre.
to do to us.
That's
Make us all
bizarre.
hermaphrodites,
Why?
hermaphroditic, which seems natural. That seems natural to me.
Well, being naturally born hermaphroditic is natural.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. There's
Not
one that
as-
was just
not
recently
as
born.
natural. It used to be more prevalent.
Uh-huh.
that's what I mean. I do think so.
I wonder what happened. What happened was a
They
split
started cutting
somewhere.
off.
Have you
They
ever
started
seen a
making
tree
pick a
cut
gender.
down where it made you cry?
Oh, there's this tree like just
Well,
at the
I never
elementary school,
experienced it.
like that. It's like right a block away from my house, and it was gigantic. This beautiful oak tree. The stump was not as big as a redwood, but it was massive. But they cut it down. They were saying that it was just too old and it was gonna fall. It was not fucking gonna fall. They took it. I think they cut it down because kids would hide behind it. It was so
That's
so big.
so
Like little
sad.
crevices in it. Yeah. I sat on the stump and I cried. I was so fucking upset about it.
Yeah, I
I've
bet.
cried. I've cried at it. I even think certain like real estate is nothing without the trees that are on it. Like
Yeah.
it's so. I'm not a tree hugger at all, but I have just seen trees cut down or seen people uproot trees and just leave them there, like just laying where I felt energy of them. Like they hate that. What are you doing?
Like I've seen like normal trees that you see in New York City, and then just the regular tall trees. But when you experience like a grand tree that's just like huge, like piscaresque, what? Piscaresque, right?
Picturesque.
Picturesque.
I didn't even know what fucking word you were trying to say
I
at
didn't either
first.
for a minute.
Picturesque. Picturesque. There you go. Peachcaresque.
Peach
Anyway.
cobbler?
No, Pichka means pussy in Albanian. That's why I said
Oh,
Pichkaresque.
Pichkaresque. I love
But
it. I
yeah,
love it.
man, the experience of like finally seeing a tree that's grand like that, there's big branches and like mellows, grand mellows, like oh my God. It's like a spiritual experience that you have seeing these like old 200-year-old trees just in their glory.
If you ever
Like
get a chance, you should go to the redwood forest. It is fucking amazing. Like that was,
really.
yeah. I mean, the trees are so big that like I tried to take a picture of my family in front of the trees, but it just looks like they're in front of a brown wall because you cannot get the tree in the photo and get
Mm,
people in the photo. You know what I mean? They're so like they're so big you
ginormous.
could drive through some of them, but like
Ima-
bigger than your vehicle.
why is it just there? Do you think those trees were part of the original like land structure of all this area, like
Call
of
it
the
the Valley
United
of the
States?
Giants. Those are supposedly those and the trees in Russia. What are they called?
Why
The
there?
like the Anastasia books. What are the ringing cedars? So the ringing cedars up there. The trees actually ring.
Well,
Like
why just there and there? Like, what? Why isn't it like a global thing, or did they cut them down?
They cut them
so
down.
yeah, in Anastasia they said that they were like those trees actually touch the fucking ether, and so that's why they ring, and that's why they have like magic. Like so, just a piece of the wood held close to your body, worn close to your body, is supposed to really freaking like protect you, and
Ooh.
like you shouldn't get bug bites or anything like that. And yeah, it's like it's a very high vibration of love.
Oh, wow.
And I do think the elite came and got them. I think our family tree actually meant something different back when. I don't think it was something that had to do with us laying out the way we look on my grandfather got what? These stupid Google ad.
That's
They're
my
everywhere.
house where I was born because I was born at home. My mom was hippie, had a midwife, the whole thing, and we had the biggest trees like that. You could see them from like halfway across the town. You could tell where my house was just by those trees. So when she got sick, the first one died, and it was weird. It just all of a sudden got like some kind of weird parasite and it died. And then as she died, all the rest, there's like 5 of them, all 5 of the trees died. It freaking broke my heart because it was like,
Oh, wow.
That always reminds me of them having to tell the fucking bees that the queen died or they won't produce honey.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oldest and biggest trees on Earth. Centurion, situated in southern Tasmania, Australia, claims the title of the world's second tallest tree species, standing at 327 feet, with a trunk diameter of 13.3 feet. Centurion survived wildfires in 1934 and narrowly escaped logging in 1950. The monkey pod tree, curry tea tree, giant sequoia tree. That's the one, right? The redwoods.
yep.
Baobab tree, the white knight, the biggest tree on earth, bigger than your imagination. What is it then? Tell me. Anyways, it did not tell me the exact tree in this stupid article.
I must say, tonight's show is fire. Like some great topics tonight, honestly.
Oh, wait.
Where it goes, it just goes wherever.
Does this one have an actual picture? Alpine Forest Valley, 200 White Knight. Oh, this one has a countdown. I'll start at 6. I'm not gonna do all the ones I just scrolled through. They're not even top 6. So 94 meters.
Roots that went to
Unnamed.
Shield.
This one's the biggest unnamed. A few rare giant sequoias. So this one unnamed, but probably the biggest ones, honestly and sadly, got logged from the giant sequoias specifically. There's so many pictures of Americans standing by huge trees. Ravens Tower in California has 317 feet tree. So this is like the land of the giants thing you were saying. They got
The Valley
2
of the
of them.
Giants.
Yeah. This coastal Douglas fir grows. Where is this Douglas fir? That's usually in Oregon. Okay. Oregon.
They're in Nevada too. Douglas fir, if you smell the bark, it smells like butterscotch.
And so then you're thinking like that Northern California through the Medford, Oregon, which people all talk about that like ley lines and stuff being weird there. And then up through, they're all big tree and Hyperion. But and they're like, it's so much bigger. Like they put the space shuttle, like shit. I don't know. But I want to see a picture of Hyperion. Let's see.
I got the munchies. Oh my god.
Layla got the munchies.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Hyperion, the world's oldest tree. Remember, even they were saying in Hawaii when those fires happened, how like there was this ancient tree, like this ancient forest that burnt down. Sometimes I wonder if that's the goal of these things. Because even the BLM, that's what I want to everyone to, anytime they hear the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, this is like one of the reasons they want us red herringed with BLM and not to know what the Bureau of Land Management is. But sometimes I theorize that there's these trees, these mountains, these specific spots, these caves, these openings, and they won't let us in there. Or if whatever thing we were supposed to see, like visual, maybe it would be at sunset that we would see the perfect shadow, where it would be like, oh my gosh, this is totally a giant, you know, like these Valley of the Giant things. We have to be out of the park at 10 p.m. Like you're not allowed to camp here at these days. Or like you even wonder, I know there's fire hazards in places and there's dry places, obviously, that they're like, don't shoot off fireworks and yada, yada, yada. But I would argue the same as school shootings, that most of the fires that have been lit in any state for that they blame, like, oh, this is some drunk camper knocked over his fire and this is why California burned on fire. I would say, no, that was Paul Pelosi in China trying to lay a high-speed rail down.
Dude, that fire that happened in Reading a couple years ago, they call it the car firehouse or a car powerhouse fire or whatever. That was trippy because that burnt my freaking neighborhood where I lived in California before I moved here. And I mean, it was massive. And what's weird is that this one property that was one of my favorite hiking trails to do, this tower house, like it has all these ancient fruit trees, like apple trees that are over, like I read some fact somewhere that apple trees can produce fruit for like 100 years. These apple trees were over 150 years old and they still had full apples. I mean, the trees were just bark too. There was no trunk to the tree. It was like they were just hollowed out. But yeah, I mean, they had like metal tags to tag them because they were like such old apples. You know, these were like antique trees. But weirdly, the fire started very, very close to this, where the car powerhouse fire started was right next to this property, and it fucking didn't burn. All those trees didn't burn. But it skips a whole chunk of land. It goes all the way over to Reading in the neighborhood where I lived. Like,
yeah,
the whole neighborhood burned down.
For sure. Man, that's so annoying.
Now, too, even thinking back to Pure Genius and everything, it's like, of course, dudes are such an easy thing for them to do. That is literally your little kid technology with how to burn the ants, is just point a magnifying glass at it and heat the sun up into a direct line and it'll just laser start anywhere. It's like, it doesn't even seem like it'd be hard technology. And this is where I will give some credence to, if you take a little bit of the idea of that Layla's philosophy is every great civilization did have a flood, it doesn't mean it happened at the same time. If you take a little bit of that philosophy and a little bit of philosophy of like Tatarian, like Red Brick's philosophy, that every civilization could have had a mud flood, that with an energy weapon, a direct energy weapon, it doesn't mean the whole world necessarily had a worldwide apocalypse for civilizations to experience an apocalypse and have this thread that went through them, because the same evil that's trying to destroy us now has tried to destroy us for always. And so it's like the idea that they could use this energy weapon, not necessarily on a world scale, but have it enough that if I could put a Zeppelin into the atmosphere and the Zeppelin wasn't necessary for us to travel in the air. That is silly. We don't need to travel in the air. We can travel quicker with magnets underground. Elite don't travel in the air. We shouldn't. So I even think the idea of a Zeppelin, if the higher we could float a Zeppelin, would meant we could harness free energy to provide it to everything below. And so I think a lot of those cities or a lot of the fairs, they were all run with Zeppelin technology being an energy harnesser for the ionosphere over us needing to sit in a silly fucking basket underneath this huge balloon and just have Goodyear with an actual picture of a fucking feather on an ankle.
Isn't that like Greek mythology symbolism?
Yeah, that isn't the too close to the sun one. Who's not Mercury, not Nike. Who's
Achilles.
the messenger? Is that Mercury?
Achilles.
It is
I thought it
Mercury.
was
Yeah.
Achilles too. I feel like,
No,
but
no. Achilles was
Achilles heel.
he's a
No.
no. He's
he
a
had his
demigod.
heel cut. Yeah.
Oh,
It's Mercury or what's his name? Mercury is the Roman name.
I don't
Somewhere
remember.
Tesla technology
Hermes.
feels Hermes.
Oh,
Ding ding ding
Hermes.
ding. Thank you. That's the name I was thinking of in my head.
Yeah.
We couldn't think of it in our head because we also have Hermes Trismegistus. I knew it wasn't even going to come out when I tried it. But I was like, go anyway. You're 1 for 1 tonight. Why not try 50-50? Oh shit. All right. Is there anything else we have to talk about tonight?
Off the top of my head, no.
I know if you
What
put
up,
in
Jay?
Hermes Thoth and stuff into it's so hard to find stuff with Hermes. Anytime I try to find other connections to Hermes, other animal stuff, it always pulls up Hermes. It makes me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
like
it's fascinating
fashion
how,
houses.
yeah, that fashion house in particular, how it's so exclusive it is, and how those bags go for 20, 30, 100, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Makes you question what type of leather. Is it human that makes it so fucking expensive? Is it a special human that they're wrapped it there in the bag? Like, hey, I actually don't want that person alive anymore, and I would like to create a handbag. Can I use that person? And they probably pay big bucks for it. I think it's
Lucy
a
asked
thing.
about the
No, it's-
Titans and stuff in Hawaii. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
No,
but
it actually stays on the topic of the Titans is what I'm going to say, even to the
okay,
human
you
leather
say it.
factor. Well, the idea, I think of like Hawaiian Islands being a titan of themselves, and if we all just fractaled down, so even the way Layla talks about how there's all the Petra, all the petrified looking elephants and giants that are around. So I think if human skin has this some kind of value to them, more than just a mocking value, if it's some kind of mystical, magical, weird, dark thing that the Pope would need to wear red human flesh shoes, that this is why they do this, and there's a red shoe club to fractal down in the same way. I theorize that like the Queen of England, in a relic way, in the same way she holds her orb, in the same way she has her crown, each one of these things, like a diamond, they've proven to us that you can take your loved one and turn it into a diamond. It's almost like they're letting us know what they've done, maybe with either our bloodlines in the past or giants in the past or other animals we might not, but dragons. And so the queen sitting there with like an emerald from here that it's gifted to her from this certain country, and a ruby from here gifted to her from this, and a diamond from here, and it's all around her crown at a certain time on a certain date with this relic. And now that's been split up a little bit between the king and the queen, that they've broken these crowns up. I just think some things, it all feels intertwined somewhere, that they like they know something we don't. They're doing this dark magic, and them convincing us that it's so frou-frou in Harry Potter and that we can't talk about it because then we're called witches. Something about it seems like they want people to think it's frou-frou and fairy tale.
Israel and
Seemed like
Israelis.
of it all.
I'm sorry?
Like the blue diamond wasn't like we know the blue diamond thing because of what's it called, Titanic, but that wasn't even the fucking blue diamond. There was an actual blue diamond and it was stolen and missing for a long time. And I'm like, what makes a blue diamond a diamond though? Like, wouldn't it be something else because it's blue? Like, I find that so weird because like emeralds are green, right? Rubies are pinkish or red. Like, it just seems like a blue diamond would no longer be a diamond. It would be
What color's the sapphire?
dark blue.
Do you know who owns the diamond industry? I used to work with diamonds and jewelry and back in the day. They're
De
all
Beers?
Israeli. And the fact that they say, oh, Israelis are the ones who are created or came up with the idea of creating lab-grown diamonds, which they use the remains of human beings to create the diamond. And it makes you wonder. They say that they're not lab grown, but they're GIA certified diamonds. What does that even mean? Who are those people? How do I know that they're certifying like a real ring or a fucking corpse ring? Like, they own the diamond industry, like literally. So
So then you think about like,
blood diamonds.
certain things, if they're telling us like oil is a fossil fuel, it's created from a whole bunch of like weight and time and now oil. Diamonds, it's from weight and time and from now it's diamonds. Of what element does these things kind of come from, that you're almost like, in what kind of magical relic type way that we know the Nazis were searching for relics? This isn't even far away history that the Ark of the Covenant, people think it has mystical energies. Even here's this, like, where people think it's so frou-frou. Last night was UFC 303. And everything's a weird ritual to me. And so I watched this ritual, and it's Yuri Proshkera and it's versus Poetan, Alexander Pereira. And he's the champion right now. And it's the second time they've fought. And Yuri was like, don't bring your mysticism into the ring this time. Like, you're not allowed to call on your ancestors. Like, come and fight me yourself in the octagon.
What?
Yeah, and this was a
Damn.
whole thing. And these are both two dudes that like, they take their martial arts seriously. Whatever it is a lifestyle to them. And so you kind of see even Poetan when he walks into the ring, and you can see him draw on his ancestors. You can hear his music comes in and the way he stomps out, and then he pulls his arrow back and he's like, ah, and it's like his thing. But you can feel that no matter the time, no matter the place, he representing the army of his king or whatever, his people, his village, his family, stepping out, he always represented that, like, his energy. It's so
This reminds
heady.
me of the other guy who's the Irish boxer, and he was fighting that black guy. I forgot his name, man. It's not Conor McGregor. He's in a heavier weight, and he's from Ireland, and he was fighting this black guy. I forgot, they were very famous, but they had the same situation where the black fighter was like, oh, I call on my spirits and they're the ones who helped me and blah, blah, blah. And he was looking at, I forgot his name. Someone's going to tell me in the chat. But the other guy, the Irish guy, was talking about, my God is the one who backs me up. I don't know who your God is. And they made it very like personal in that sense that that other one is conjuring things to help him fight, and that you're not a real fighter. Like, he was calling him out on his demons pretty much, and whatever beings were helping him.
So this is Poetan, and he is like the champion, and he beat not to bore you guys, but he beat Israel Adesanya in kickboxing. He was double champion of kickboxing, and then he beat Israel until twice, and then Israel beat him once. And so then he moved up weight classes, and then he's the champion of the 205 division now. And this guy already lost to him one time, but this guy like considers himself a samurai. And you can see Poetan, that's how he walks into like, he doesn't wear all this obviously into the ring, but the energy in the song is top 3.
Where's his
Pereira? He's Brazilian.
Said he did voodoo to win the fight, apparently. Interesting.
And then in the after show, in the presser, he was like, Alex did say that he the same God that protects me is the same God that protects you.
Huh.
And he says he prays about it every night, about both of them leaving the octagon safe. So I just thought that was an interesting like thing, because then I saw other people calling out Yuri like, your God isn't strong enough to deal with this. Like, who cares? Your God can't beat up their spirit guide. Like that kind of thing, which it kind of reminded me of, remember if like the little kids like, my dad can beat up your dad, or like my sister will beat up your sister. I'll go get my dad. I'll go get my dad. Have you seen that there's a new TikTok trend of dads coming in the house and they're like, get your shoes on, come on, we're going. And the little girl's like, what? And he's like, some dad down the street just challenged me to his fight, and he says he's going to get his daughter. So I said, I'm going to get my daughter. And the girls are like, what? Or they're like, come on, it'll be fun.
When you think about it, when you say it that way, it's almost like everybody has like mommy and daddy issues, and like, oh, my God is better than yours. So they turn to God because they didn't have anything else, and they turn to God. So it's like all trauma based, like following in a sense. Like, I have a father, but you have a father, but you don't respect your father, but you're gonna, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, in that story, The Shack, it was like the book was so much better than the movie. And in it, like the guy's like has that issue with God. So God shows up to him as a black woman. And he's like, why did you show up as a black woman? She's like, because you got daddy issues. Like, I'm not going to show myself as a man to you. Like, I'm coming to you in a way that you can relate and take it in. Like, I was like, dude, I fucking love that. That's so freaking beautiful.
In The Stand, God is
Stockholm
a black
syndrome.
woman.
Miss Abbie?
Yeah, that's
Everybody has Stockholm syndrome.
It is a little bit. It is a little bit, because that's where I've seen the whole philosophy of like, no matter what world you try, like let's say you you have a bird that you find it's injured and you nurse it back to health and you love the bird so much, and you're like, it'll never survive out whatever out there is anymore because I've loved it so much. Which really is like, this is what they kind of tell us about certain animals. Like, don't love these animals because you'll make them not be able to survive out there. So you have this little bird, you've like nurtured it too much and you've made it too adapted to your human life, so it can't go back out into the wild. So you have to build it like a big pen. No matter how big you build that, no matter how perfect world that you want to give that thing, you've created a cell for it. And that is sometimes the idea of like, it doesn't matter to me whether you are talking about NASA or a firmament. Both of those things to me are just reminding me that I'm trapped in this cell. And yeah, it's huge. It's this whole world. And sometimes, depending on what avatar you have, is how far you're allowed to go in the world and play. You know, so it's like this whole kind of, like some people, like,
it's weird.
Yeah, my cell looks like I can fly free in an actual airplane, but I'm just in a different cell going to another cell.
It's when you put it that way, yeah, and it's kind of sad, but like, do you think they'd be happier out in the wild? Like, let's say my cats, for instance. Well, my cat, like, if I let it out free, do you think it'll be happier out there and like just and then like not? I don't know.
I do believe they'd be happier. I don't know if they'd live as long, and this is the thing about this is the conundrum of most things. Like, all the stuff that's the most fun to do kills us, and that is the life of a cat. They just don't give a fuck. So every second is the most amount of fun.
I like you guys talk about litter boxes and stuff, and I'm the type of person, like, all my cats have come and went, so they never have a litter box. They come in the house, like they sleep all day in the house or whatever, and then they go outside and probably all night. But like my cat growing up, I was always like that. We never had a litter box. 17 years, you know, it lived 17 years. It had a rough life, but he was happy as hell. He had like 4 other families. I would argue with little kids at the bus stop. They'd be like, that's my cat. And I'm like, no, dude, that's my cat. Like, I know my cat. Like, it's been around since I was a baby. Like, but He ate
I
at
know
4 different
neighborhood cats
houses. Yeah.
where a whole bunch of people took
Everybody
care of
thinks
the
it's their
neighborhood
cat.
cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if nobody saw it for a certain amount of time, they'd go in. That'd be the only time the neighbors all talked to each other was, have you
Where's
seen
the cat?
whatever their name was for the gray
Yeah,
The
cat?
like
cat.
he called my cat Four Eyes Blind. I remember that. I was like, what? Like, his name is Bubba. That's not fucking.
I love it. Like, that's what my friend's dog, who would escape all the time, went on tour and would go to this family's house 40 miles away. 40 miles. This is in Wisconsin,
Damn.
everyone. So it's a full different 40 miles than in like a city or even in like parts of towns that I live in. Like 40 miles, I'm like, that dog would get hit by a car. But in their country, the dog figured out it had an electrical collar for a period of time. And then the dog figured out when the lake froze that they didn't put the electrical wire through the lake. And so then in the
shit.
summertime, he always swam through the lake and he would just go on tour and go to the same families all the time. And so it was an old lady and an old man, and they named the dog a whole different name. It had a whole nother life. And so then they came incommunicado with
Little
this other
sluts.
family that they were like, we love it, because they thought they lost this dog. Like weeks and weeks went by, and then they finally, like, because of technology, it was like a cute golden retriever. They're like, oh, our dog's like 40 miles away, so the family drove it all the way back because they loved the dog so much, and the grandkids were visiting, and like they had lost their family dog, like, so the grandkids were visiting, this golden retriever showed up all of a sudden for the grandkids at their house, and so
Oh,
they were like,
damn.
of course we can keep it. And so that's how it became a whole thing. And so then they ended up knowing this family for years until the dog passed away, because
wow.
every single time the grandkids would come for long stays with the grandparents would come pick up the dog. Like it became their grand dog essentially.
Yeah.
With the grandkids, that it never got left out of any trip anytime the grandkids were around.
That's
So
so cute.
yeah. So your animals just go on tour.
They do.
They do. I don't want that though. I'm locking mine up.
My teenagers, I call my cats teenagers. And I'm like, when I see a cat out at night, I'm like, who would let their teenager just run amok? Like,
No.
this is why, like, because that cat too, its lifespan's like 7 years less than an
Yeah, fuck
inside
that.
cat. Like,
But I
and
feel like 17 years is almost like average for any cat. Like 17 to 19, that's where you're freaking. They're old
Not
motherfuckers
enough.
at that point. So, like, I've had cats a long time.
Why don't cats have like a longer lifespan?
Plus, my cat now was my neighbor's cat, so
I mean, they have 9 lives. Like,
so I have to let it out.
can they just like prolong 17 and then 17 and then 17 like 9 times?
okay, listen, I have had animal love of my life. Like, I've had little animal soulmates that I just fucking love. And then I've had other animals that they are obligatory. And I love them. I give them the best life ever. And I have great luck. And I am a good animal parent, that things sometimes live too fucking long with me. Too long. And I
Yeah.
had a cat love of my life. And she probably made, I don't know how old she was when I got her. I got her at the Humane Society, to be fair. So she could have been a few years old when I got her, but she probably lived like 13 years. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. It affected me. By the time my old lady, Miss Monk, went, she was like 19. I was ready for this bitch to go. Like, she was senile. She was
Yeah.
like decrepit. She was like, she had
They're so old by that point.
sundowners. Yeah, like where it's like, up now she's just gonna meow in my face incessantly because she doesn't know what she wants anymore. She doesn't remember. Like, she has little cat Alzheimer's going on.
Aw.
And so she didn't know if she had to eat or not. So I just have this deal with my animals. As long as they want to eat and they can shit, they're good to go. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit really about anything else. Like, as long as they can use the bathroom, I even understand they can't hold themselves all the time once they get old. Like, but once they have no
babies.
zest for life anymore of those two things, I'm like, all right, old girl. That she was the first animal I ever put down. And that was like, she, like, being so old and putting her down, letting her go the whole time until, like, everyone says, you'll know, they'll tell you. And I felt like this bitch told me. Like, she woke me up at like 4:00 in the morning and was like in cat pain, like over it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, I can't handle this anymore. She was yelling. And so we made an appointment and took her to the vet that day. That was actually a thing of putting her down where I felt peaceful when her soul left her body. Like, oh, good. poor old girl, she has been going through it. Like the last 2 years have been painful. Even my dog. That's how I felt about Ernest. Like
Yeah.
where I never got that. Like Shorty, my cat love of my life, died in my arms, like at home, where it was super traumatic.
I bet it is traumatic.
My dad would put our animals down. I would
Sometimes they-
Really?
Yeah.
Like how?
Like he would tell us to go to say goodbye. He would go dig a hole in the desert, and then he would freaking put him in a blanket and give him love, and then he would freaking shoot him.
Oh wow.
And then
Have you
bury
ever
him.
done a mercy killing?
I
Have you ever
haven't,
killed
but I
something
mean,
in pain, like hit something with your car or seen something injured and had to kill it?
well, I had a freaking baby deer. I didn't have a gun, or I would have killed it. But this other couple stopped right after me, and they shot it for me. I would have done it. I didn't have a gun.
I want to be brave enough to, I mean, not that I ever even want to see that to have to do it, but in my life where I've had to, I wasn't brave enough to do it.
I could do it.
I was lucky enough, like, that somebody else was around.
I don't think I
Yeah.
could do it.
I'm so good
It's
under pressure of
worse
like
thing is suffer.
survival, like
Yeah.
trying to keep you alive. I'm stoic. I'm the one you want there. But if I have to be the one to kill you, I'm probably not the one you want to hand the gun to.
Yeah.
Okay, look at we
Well,
just decided that in the
it's
group you
me.
could.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that I was
perfect.
freaking
Good
pretty
to know.
upset that I hit this deer and it was still freaking alive, and it was a little freaking baby. You know, I was just
That's where I feel like that whole analogy of like you got to put your own mask on before you put on someone else's mask. I don't think that's true at all, because sometimes I think there's an infinite amount of masks and you might have a bunch of masks in certain areas. But other things, people are never going to get their mask on, but you might just be super competent in that it's okay if you like if we were all hanging out and like we had a property together, a commune or a cult, and I was like, okay, well, we need someone to be able to do this. We're gonna have chickens, we're gonna have like goats. Like there's certain things I want to talk about with every step of anything. Like what if worst case scenario we had to do this? But I don't want to do that stuff alone, and I think there's certain stuff that you don't have to do alone if somebody around you does it well.
yeah, agreed.
Are you talking to us, Layla?
No.
You done?
Motherfucker over there is pissing me off right now.
Who?
Snaggy Puss.
Oh,
It's
okay.
That's his nickname. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
trying to go
charming
from,
in the
like,
beginning,
gang-
but not
yeah.
so much anymore.
Yeah, if I had $1 for every you know what, I'll even put this up because it doesn't even, if this was a thought, like this is a problem, I will just let you know here right now. And I'm saying this for actually all the straight women. I wish I was the one that needed a stiff dick, but every woman I know wish you could keep your dick hard enough to actually get them off. Like, I don't think most men can actually have a stiff dick. I think this is a huge epidemic. And if you drink, you probably are less likely to have a soft dick. And if you're vaccinated, you probably get a blood clot if you tried to get a hard dick. So I big up you if you are a man out there and you can keep a good firm dick for your woman, because I don't think it is a majority at all. I think a guy that would even say that to a girl is probably a guy that can't keep a stiff dick for himself jerking off. So anyways, it doesn't
I
even
wonder.
bother me.
Didn't he say he was like 42 and single and like all this other shit? I wonder.
Yeah, it probably shows. Because if like gout, skin issues, like there's stuff that go on with men that I can just tell in your physical appearance that you can't get your dick hard. I can tell what you eat and drink. And especially the older you get, I can tell it more and more and more. So once you get past 42, I will tell you.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. It's fine. I'm
Yeah,
okay with
totally
it.
fine.
I know you said cut, and I was like, do we have to leave? We can. We can go. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So if I did need a stiff dick, it's probably a problem for a lot of women in the world. I'm probably not the only one.
Ay, man.
Yeah, this is what I think. This is such good advice. Diet, exercise, and sleep equal boner.
Yeah.
Take
Very
care of your
true.
body.
Yeah, I
Very
think it
true.
needs to be a real, like, I think it's like a real epidemic, though. I think and here's the thing too.
Soft
Let's say
dick
you're
syndrome.
like, Chaney, I don't care what you say, you stupid dyke. I want to have a soft dick. Cool schmoll, at least learn how to eat pussy. And if you need any advice, no hard feelings, I can teach you. Because I'm the guy with the smallest dick in the room. I have the smallest, softest dick in the room. And guess what? I've had it my whole life and I'm very comfortable with it. Imagine if at this age I wasn't comfortable with being the smallest dick man in the room. And that's why I overcompensate in pleasing a woman in so many other ways that don't include anything that represents a hard dick.
Don't want the small dick man. Don't want. Isn't there a song?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Teeny
soft
weeny,
dick.
Short
weeny
dick
weeny,
man.
short dick man. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Teeny weeny, weeny weeny, short dick man. Don't want. Anyway.
Shriveled little.
I
What
always
else,
thought those
ladies?
I know. It's so funny. I know, but that's probably why too. It like does like you never saw women in podcasting because like it's so like men are so crass and cruel to us in general when they say stuff like that. That is the part of the Me Too movement a little bit is like we have to deal with this stuff in our everyday work lives. Like our everyday worlds, walking around the grocery store, having to like get like sugarcoat things whether a boss or a higher up or just a dude you don't want to rock the boat with because you don't hate him altogether, but you have to put up with a certain amount of shit every day. Like there's a certain amount of the way that men talk to women that is dangerous to us because we have to walk each other to our car at night. But I don't think men know this. We can't jog at night. We all have the fear of rape at least a few times a week. And so when stuff like this is said on a public platform, it takes women of a certain age to get to a place to be thick enough skin to have dealt with so many men like this and so many other walks of the world to not be fearful enough anymore to pull the comment up and call it out. Because it's the same thing that happens in the real world where guys are like saying this fucking swarmy stuff. You just need the right dick. Because they don't just say it to the lesbians. They say this to Layla and Abbie have heard this shit like just for disagreements at work. Like, oh, what Layla? You just probably need the right cock. Like, no, that's not going to make me vote for Joe Biden. Like this is real. Like, you know, like maybe Abbie, you just feel that way. You're just mad because you haven't had the right cock in ya. Yeah, the right dick. That's why you women are like this. You guys haven't had the right dick. It's like
I've heard that many
it's the
times.
amount of times that we have to hear this just for any opinion. And that this is why women, it's like eventually being trolled, being doxxed and stuff like this. We're fearful of our actual existence. But I am a girl who packs heat and lives in Florida and has great male friends that I don't fear pudgy mudge.
Pidgey mudges or shuras.
Yeah. Like I show up and I see the people who will actually show up. And then I see the people that are sitting there with their soft dick in their hand watching us on YouTube right now. You show up every week and watch a dyke with your soft dick in your hand.
Oh, so great. Just don't cramp up, dude. Carpal tunnel is a thing.
Your own little personal box saga. Anyways, anywho's, do we end it on that note? There's gotta be something else. You're like, that's how we love to end around here.
A little Salt Bay action. Mic drop.
I love you guys so much. I hope you
love you
hang out
guys.
with us late night on Sunday for Secret Society of Good Guys, with the hard dicks that we have around. And otherwise, we will see you here each and every Sunday for Ladies Night, Lady Smoke Free, and maybe somewhere in between, I will get a good hard dick. and I will come tell you guys about it
Can't wait.
before next week. But
We should play that song that I posted that went viral. It's at like 3 million views. I got a dick in my, what is it called? Nightstand. I can hold it with my left hand. It's
that
so
is
great.
so fucking funny. All
So
right,
great.
you
Never
guys.
heard that.
I love you so
I'll
much.
send it to you. Love you
Thanks for
guys.
hanging out, and we will see you soon.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Used to think we knew, constantly explore the view. All possibilities come true, so what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, bigger mistakes, entertaining, calming linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mischief making. It's okay to change your thinking. Good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Bunnies. Hi. Okay, of course she's starving for the most attention because she's the youngest. Give me attention, please. Now, Sarah, you're very stuck up. And you're too cool for school, I get it. Jesus Christ, be nice.